everyone, today is Thursday, the 7th of February, 2019. This is The Gap, episode 454. I'm Luke Lawrie. Joab Gilroy's here. How's your week going, Joab?
Pretty good. Pretty bad productivity-wise.
I know, right?
Oh my lord. It has been a rough one for getting shit done. Yeah, I've been working late in that. All right, so if you don't know, we're both work from home and we're both freelance, so we both literally just have to do the job, and once you've done the job, that's it. There's no like fucking 40 hours a week or whatever the fuck. It's just as long as the work's done, it's done, which is awesome. 100% of the time, but you have to be pretty good. Disciplined. You have to be pretty fucking disciplined, and you have to be pretty good at time management, and I am usually both of those things.
Yep.
But yeah, Apex Legends dropped on fucking Tuesday, and it has been devastating to my productivity. It has been fucking terrible for me getting shit done. Like, I am still getting my shit done.
Yeah.
But fucking hell.
And it was one of those things where it was already busy this month.
Yeah.
Or this quarter.
Yeah.
And they were like, you know what? Let's just sneak this in here a little bit.
Yeah. I've already played like 11 hours of Apex Legends.
Right.
It's been out for 2 days. Yeah.
Do we want to just go straight into that, maybe?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So let's start off at the beginning. There was, I think you posted a video on our Discord page, maybe, about a YouTuber,
chat, I think.
Facebook chat,
yeah.
About a YouTuber that had sources saying that there was a Titanfall battle royale game being dropped within the next couple of days, and it was a secret title that nobody's ever heard of, and that a bunch of content creators / streamers were at this event playtesting it, and it would be revealed at some stage over like the Super Bowl, and then be available the next day or at that announcement.
Yep.
And at that stage there wasn't many, like, it was pretty low key in terms of views on that.
Yep.
So you're on point with that one. And then it was kind of weird because nobody really reported on it at all.
Yeah.
Which was quite strange. And then I looked into it a bit more, and then I was like, okay, the guy that's posted this is a bit of a dick. So that's why nobody's linking to his channel or really talking about it.
Right.
Until there was a second, an actual journalist from, I think he's an esports writer, right?
I'm not sure.
I've seen his name around a bunch. And I think he primarily covers esports.
What was the name?
Rod
Breslau? Slasher?
Yes.
Yeah, he is an esports journalist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so he posted on Twitter that he had also heard the same thing.
Yep.
And then at the end of his like Twitter thread said that, by the way, the quartering was the one that kicked this off. Like, he broke the story and whatnot.
Yep.
And then everybody, all the media, reported on Rod's Twitter and didn't mention a word about this guy. I've got an issue with this in particular. Like, I think you need to be like, credit to your sources, right? And everybody knew that he wasn't the original source, but the only reason they didn't do it is because he's a giant dickhead.
Yeah.
Like, he's harassed people on the internet before, whatnot. I don't agree with any of that stuff, but at the end of the day, I still think that he was the original source of this. And whatever your political beliefs are with whatever, I think you put that aside and say that, you know, just at least credit him.
I can see the you know, conflict. I can see the challenge, you know, because you don't want to give a microphone to a fuckwit, but he was the source, and dicking him out of it is bad journalistic practice, regardless of whether or not he is a fucktard or not. Like, it is what you're supposed to do. You could always add that he's a dickhead. You can always explain that he is a shit cunt, but
well, just don't link to his like anything. Just say that he was the source. I don't know. I just thought it was handled pretty poorly, and even though people knew that he was the source, they just would not link to him.
Yeah.
Which I thought was not the right way to go about it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
So on top of that,
Yep.
the other thing that sort of came out was he had all this information there and didn't leak some of it apparently just to protect Respawn. He was saying, and then I guess he posted also a second video saying like he missed a bunch of emails and like from his sources and that he had some more information. There was rumors going around, or he was basically saying that there was going to be a Super Bowl commercial, and then they would announce it during the Super Bowl, and then that's when the game would drop. That never happened, and then I think it was midday during the Super Bowl, like halftime, they announced that yes, this is going to be a thing. We've got a new game to announce. You hear more tomorrow. We'll do a full reveal, and that's when a lot of the content creators and whatnot started tweeting that yes, they've played it, blah blah blah, and that we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So a couple of things about that. I don't like. It doesn't usually happen where you see leaks coming through from games that are shown off quite early, and through like media and whatnot. But I think that the big mistake they made here is they got a bunch of streamers in, and possibly content creators that aren't used to handling a lot of this NDA stuff,
Yep.
and like not talking about a lot of this stuff, and they just broke it. They flat out broke NDAs and were revealing all sorts of information, details which were factually incorrect.
Right.
I think the biggest one that came out of this was that it was a Titanfall battle royale game, which was wrong. Right? It's a battle royale game set in the Titanfall universe.
Yeah.
And so you start up, all this information comes out about people expecting there to be these features and elements that are associated with the Titanfall franchise, but they're not. And then stuff starts leaking out about how there's no wall running, there's no Titans, and all of a sudden, EA and Respawn have this like fire they've got to put under control because the information which is getting leaked is wrong. It's flat out wrong.
Yep.
So that was like one big thing that kind of came out of that, and it's still going. Like I'm still seeing people on Twitter, even though the game is released, being like, "Don't think I'm going to check it out. There's no Titans in it, or there's no wall running." It's like
I have seen that. Yeah.
It's not a Titanfall game. Like full stop. It is a different game. There is no marketing at all involved in any of the wording that says it's a Titanfall game. You look on their website, there's nothing. The only link to Titanfall is that some of the lore surrounding it sets it in the same universe, right?
It's set like 20 years after the events of Titanfall 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's literally, it's all just lore shit.
Right.
Yeah. It's not and also only pilots can pilot Titans, and only pilots can wall run. So it's only pilots can double jump. This is all pilot shit. This is all only Spartans can have a Cortana on their fucking wrist. Like nobody got upset when fucking John Locke or whatever the fuck his name was. John, not Spartan, not Master Chief. You know, Halo 4, how you played as Master Chief and you also played as a dude who wasn't Master Chief, and you're like, well, what the fuck's the point? Why wouldn't I be... Oh, now I get to play as not Superman? Fuck this shit. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, nobody's like, but nobody got upset, right? Because it was like, okay, so that's the portion of the game where I'm playing as not Superman. Fine, fair enough. Let's move on.
Yep.
All of this game is not Superman. You're not a pilot, so fucking let it go. It's got like no impact on it. It is interesting though. See, like I've been racking my brain as to why they would do it like this, and then like you see, we'll talk about it later. But you see the way EA can't seem to do a single fucking thing right with their marketing lately. In the last like year, I mean, ignoring the year and year plus, but they can't get out ahead of their own bad image. They can't outpace the vision people have that EA is bad. This idea that Battlefield 5 failed because of bad marketing. Bad marketing, right? Everyone's like, oh yeah, it's because they told everyone, you know, if you don't like playing as a woman in World War II, then don't fucking buy it. Which fucking 100%. If you don't want to play as a woman in Battlefield 5, then don't fucking buy it. Like, just who gives a fuck? It shouldn't matter. And if it does matter, right, the only reason it would matter is if you wanted to be represented in the game, in which case, fuck yeah. And if it doesn't matter, oh, nobody cares, oh, it's just, what do they call it, virtue signaling. It's just virtue signaling to add them, blah, 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 blah. If that's all it is, then why do you give this much of a fuck? Fuck you. Don't play it. Everyone's like, that's why, you know, they told people not to play it, and so nobody played it. Fuck off, cunts. That's not what happened. They fucked up the marketing in so many, like, just fucking open your goddamn eyes. Who marketed Battlefield 5? Influencers. They got... Yeah. Battlefield influences in to market fucking Battlefield, and they could not get out ahead of their own bad press because they didn't utilize the press. They never fucking seem to utilize the press anymore, right? To do the fucking stuff that we've always done, in-depth analysis prior to a fucking game. The shit that Nate talked about, right, with Battlefield 5 and that we've talked about with Battlefield 5, this idea that it encourages playing the fucking objective in a way that no Battlefield game has ever done before. All that kind of stuff is stuff that you're not going to get from a fucking YouTuber whose job is to hype shit up as much as possible. They can't hype, right? They can't outpace their own negative hype. They are running backwards. They're taking fucking 3 steps forward and 4 back every time they try to do it this way. The same goes for Anthem. They're not doing it the correct way. They're marketing it in hype terms. Be a superhero, blah, blah, blah. It should be in-depth analysis of the fucking function of primers and detonators and how that dramatically changes the game up. Because when we talked about it last week, on the podcast, right? Your concept to the game was third-person Destiny, and I was desperate to explain it in a way that I fucking could, but all of the times that I played it and experienced what Anthem really is were all fucking embargoed, so I couldn't do it until this week. We will talk about that, but like that's their problem again, right? Like fucking what? Like yeah, we're doing great numbers on this podcast, right? But we're not. They're not fucking putting together shit for us to, like, I don't get paid enough to do 1 billion fucking articles on Anthem. I wish I did. But instead they're just going to go to fucking influencers again. Instead, with this, with Apex Legends, they're like, okay, we can't get out in front of it. You know what we'll do? We'll give them a day. We'll give them 24 hours. Let's see how much they can fuck it up. And they still fucked it up. They're still like, oh yeah, it's Titanfall. Yeah, Titans. Titanfall. There's Titan in the name. Fall, so you call in Titans. That's Titanfall, right? No, it's not Titanfall, motherfuckers. Stop bringing that up. Holy shit. It is related in the sense that, yes, it's the same development studio, and yes, it's the same world, but it is fucking not even the same fucking realm. Good God. Let it go. Jesus Christ. They still blew it the fuck up. However, that said, it's been successful. Like, it's the top played game on Twitch. It's like double the numbers of fucking Fortnite right now. People fucking love it. I've played 11 hours of it because I'm fucking obsessed with it. They broke 1 million. Did they say 1 million concurrent inside the first 24 hours? I believe I saw a tweet from Vincent.
I'm not 100% sure. The last one that I saw was 600,000.
I'm pretty sure I saw Vince Zampella 1 million concurrent.
Probably, yeah. I mean, there was a point where I don't know if the number that I saw was just PC or something like that.
Right.
But because it is out on all platforms, right? So
yeah.
I'm not sure. I do know that my origin list was literally everybody except for Nate playing Apex Legends.
Yeah.
There was stacks of people, like everyone.
Heaps. Yeah.
Which was nuts.
Awesome.
So yeah, I guess even going back further from that, maybe we'll talk about like Respawn has had a bit of a rough ride, right? The last couple of years. We talked about it a long time ago, where Respawn was not Respawn at one stage. They were Infinity Ward.
Yeah.
And Infinity Ward was part of Activision. They were sort of the original creators of the Call of Duty series, which spun off of Medal of Honor, Allied Assault. If anyone remembers that, one of my favorite World War. I was on the Medal of Honor train, being like, I don't want to play. Like when I heard about Call of Duty, I was like, they're just ripping off Medal of Honor. But it turned out that the people that made Medal of Honor were now making Call of Duty. So I was like, okay, fair enough. So Infinity Ward made this giant franchise, as we know today, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And then they had a fallout about 9 years ago, and the owners of that development studio ended up leaving. And I remember us talking about it on the show, and we must have covered it for about a week or two after that initial thing happened, because there was news coming out about all these other developers that were leaving that studio at a staggering amount of, like, we're talking 100 plus people leaving that studio and following Vince off to wherever he was going.
Jason West, yeah. And then a couple of months passed, and they announced the formation of the actual, like, the name of the new studio and stuff like that. It was Respawn Entertainment.
Yeah, and they were going to be, I guess, an independent studio.
Yeah.
They eventually signed on as EA, their publisher.
Yep.
So they were still doing it their own way, and eventually Titanfall spawned off of that.
Yep. And Titanfall had some fucking wild ideas, right? Titanfall was a crazy fucking game. You didn't have a traditional single-player campaign. Everyone said at the time that you could never fucking launch a game without a single-player campaign, but now people are like, where are our single-player campaigns? Because fucking Call of Duty didn't have one, and Battlefield didn't have one. Like, they were just fucking ahead of their time. In that, they had Titans, which dramatically changed the perspective of the battlefield. Like, you had to manage two distinct levels of play in this one same space, which was massive. They had wall running. The hyper mobility of the game was fucking out of control. It was so fucking quick. It was so fast. Yeah. Oh yeah, fast enough that we would inevitably see Call of Duty swerve that direction. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Double jumping, these like super tight gunplay, fantastic weapons, like gorgeous maps, and like this really well fleshed out world that largely people didn't play a lot of because they didn't like the messaging around the single player was confusing. You couldn't really work out how the fuck it was going to work, all this kind of stuff. How did I get through all of the single player? I think it's been a while, but I'm pretty sure I was at the review event, and I'm pretty sure this is where that happened. Like, we struggled. We had to like restart Surfer like 6 times because we hadn't finished all of the, like, we hadn't managed to get through all the maps, and somehow we kept like getting randomly put into a map, not the map that we needed to get into, and they like somehow fucked up that particular thing. It was just like a review event hiccup. But yeah, like you could sort of imagine it happening in general, you know, and so yeah, it didn't go so well. I mean, it wasn't dead on arrival. It was pretty popular for a couple of days, but then it bled out quickly, mostly because pretty popular wasn't like super popular. It wasn't like ultra played and heaps of people on it, like jumping in all the time. Oh, let's go play some Titanfall. It was very much Titanfall's pretty cool. I like the ideas. Well, Battlefield 3 then. Like very, very. It wasn't sticky, and so for Battlefield Titanfall 2, they went back to the drawing board. I guess they introduced a single player campaign. That was a pretty big part of it. Yes. It was probably the best part of it.
Apparently, I think I remember reading this, that they basically did a game jam in the office and took a bunch of ideas from what happened at a game jam and sort of turned them into to levels
Yeah.
during the campaign.
Yeah, they were saying that constant. I was at the review event for this as well. It was a review event that took place over 2 days, and I'm not sure if it went one and then the other, but like I'm not sure which order it was in. But it took place over the course of 2 days, and then they tore down all of the Titanfall banners, and they replaced them with Battlefield banners. And we did a review event for 2 games over the course of 5 days because they were releasing these 2 games basically on top of fucking one another. Yeah. So, yeah. The single player you could play, like, I got to play it at my own leisure. It was frankly awesome. Like, I really enjoyed it. There were a couple of levels in particular, the massive prefab level where it's like making the world.
Making the level.
Yeah, fucking amazing level. Really, really good, like, traversal, like parkour type shit. Like, really clever platforming, first person.
Yeah, it did like the thing that Portal 2 did, where it's like building the walls and whatnot around you and moving it, but like on a scale of 10 times of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, awesome level. And the other one was Cause and Effect, which is the time travel one, which is one of the most iconic levels in a game in ages. And I wrote in my review that it should have been the entire game. Actually, if I recall correctly, I wrote in my review that they played it safe, and that if they'd had any nuts, they would have made a Cause and Effect game. But instead, they were playing the entire thing pretty safe.
I mean, you look at that as well, and Dishonored 2. It was Dishonored 2 that had the exact same concept of you having this device that you could sort of see through 2 times, and you switching between like the 2 timelines, and having puzzle elements involved and enemies and whatnot in certain places that weren't there in one timeline. So it wasn't like that kind of influenced other games as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it did have an impact. You know, it clearly had an impact. Yeah, the multiplayer had like 3 different team deathmatch variants. I remember like losing my shit about it because I hate team deathmatch. And there was like a Titanless mode where you didn't have Titans in team deathmatch. I'm like, why the fuck would anyone ever like play? Why don't you just go play fucking Call of Duty? Like, fuck. Yeah. So. Yeah, they played it really safe, I thought, with Titanfall 2. It was a really, really fucking hedged bet. And when it released up against Battlefield 1, which was not at all safe, not at all a fucking safe bet, and against Call of Duty, they were never, like, they were in a bad spot the whole time. They were in a tough spot the entire time, and that was what they were up against the 2 behemoths of first-person shooters, and they just sort of had to fucking deal with it. And I
see a lot of people even recently saying that EA kind of killed them, but at the same time, it also came out that Respawn picked the release dates for those games because they were still under their own banner at that stage. Insane that they would pick that release date. I did not know that. I've been saying that EA killed them for fucking ages. Yeah,
but
so
they fucking shot them on the fucking side of the road and kicked him into a ditch. Like,
so someone posted it on Twitter. I saw it on Reset Era, and then Kotaku verified it and said that's the same thing they've heard from their sources high up at Respawn, is that they picked the release dates and EA had nothing to do with it.
That's insanity.
The only thing that happened that was different is that Battlefield got pushed back, I think, 2 weeks. Something like that, remember?
Yeah, I do remember.
It was delayed a little bit.
Yep.
That's the only thing that happened, but they were still in the same sort of sites as Call of Duty.
Yep.
They knew they were going to release, or they knew that Battlefield was going to release. Around that time, they knew that they wanted to release that same sort of window, like that Christmas period, right? Because the Titanfall was released early on in March. And I think they were confident enough to be like, alright, we're going to release our game at Christmas.
Yeah.
And it did not go well for them.
was a mistake.
Yeah.
So yeah, then
They
that
got
game
picked up
died,
by EA after that.
but that game died real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had they had an agreement with EA, and then they got picked up, bought out. I believe Jason West left.
Yeah.
And yeah, they've been working on EA's Star Wars game, Star Wars, whatever the fuck it's called, the Fallen Jedi.
Legends.
Fallen Jedi. Don't say Jedi Legends. It's an awful thing to say. Yeah, they've been ostensibly working on that, and then yeah, all this shit came out, and they're like, "Oh yeah, lol, we've got a battle royale game," and it feels 100% like revenge. It feels like, oh yeah, remember when you did us dirty with Battlefield and Titanfall? Well, fucking cop this, Anthem, because yeah, you can't get away with this one, motherfuckers. Yeah, like
I've also heard that they picked the release date for this one as well, which is amazing.
And Bioware's like, why? But why? Why are you like this? I don't understand. Why didn't they should have released it in March? Really gotten back at Battlefield's Battle Royale, because fucking hell, I'm struggling to see how Battlefield Battle Royale can compete.
Tractors, farm tractors.
It does have tractors, and there's no fucking tractors in Apex Legends. So, like, if I was at DICE, I'd be like, push it back to April.
2020.
Like, honest to God, though, fuck. There's so much in Apex Legends that there's no way this shit's in Battlefield. And the game just changed. Like, the entire landscape for Battle Royales just changed. There is no way PUBG Corp and Fortnite aren't scrambling their butts off.
Or Call of
Duty. Or Blackout. Like, it is fucking all hands on deck. Holy fuck. Have you seen this shit? How are we not doing this? It is so fucking polished right out of the gate. It feels so good to play immediately, provided your extremely high-end graphics card doesn't crash your entire game.
All the time.
Every other fucking round. Yeah.
I mean, this is like the thing we just talked about. The 20 minutes of history for Respawn.
Yeah.
The creators of the biggest franchise in the world have now have rejigged Battle Royale as we know it. This is their take on Battle Royale.
They're like, there's Blackout and PUBG and like fucking Fortnite. They're all sitting at a table, but they're all at this massive banquet table. They're all just fucking chewing. They're fucking feeding like motherfuckers. They're like, yeah, boy, getting in. H1Z1's off at the kiddie table. Like, we still exist. And fucking Respawn like walked up and just fucking slam, like fucking swiped everything off and then slapped a fucking pig down. And they're like, this is what's happening now, bitches. Because yeah, I can't get over how much of this stuff, like the stuff that's in this game, I'm staggered, hasn't been in every battle royale. Isn't in every battle royale. It is so immediately intuitive. I always thought that fucking Fortnite was the low skill floor for a battle royale.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't even been thinking about it in the correct fucking terms. Because Fortnite is low skill floor in the sense that it evens itself out, well, used to even itself out thanks to RNG spread on weapons and, you know, all kinds of goofy quirks and building and all that kind of stuff where you could very quickly level the playing field. But that, it turns out, is not the fucking skill floor. The skill floor is unbelievable ease of use for a new player to immediately work out how the fuck they can communicate effectively, go to the right places, not have to quit a game as soon as they're fucking dead. Like, all this kind of shit. And Apex Legends does it fucking right away, like right off the bat. It is just hitting it out of the park. It's just fucking sixes, 6, 6, 6, like fucking non-stop. It's just killing it. It is crazy. The ping system is one of the best things I've ever seen. It could be better if it could mark an open door, because it does recognize an open door. The game does. I know it does. Maybe they don't do it so that what's his face, your favorite dude, the tracker.
Yeah, right.
Whatever his name is. Maybe they don't do it so that he has some fucking utility, but I don't think they should. Yeah, it does so much contextually that there's no fucking way. I can go back to like, oh yeah, 350 from my perspective, about 250 meters near that tree. And then someone's 50 meters to my left, and like, which tree? There's 3 trees, and I'm like, oh my fucking god! The guy next to the tree! Shoot the fucking guy! And they're like, yeah, there's 3 trees, Joab! I'm like, 250 meters, 300 fucking degrees from me now. He's moving! Fuck, just fucking find him!
You've got the sniper rifle.
Please just shoot him. And they're like, oh, 300 degrees. I was looking at 100 degrees. I'm like, you're facing the wrong fucking direction. Like, meanwhile, in Apex, you're like, ping, enemy there. Like, you don't even have to say it. You ping them, and your character goes, enemy over here, and everyone fucking knows immediately. Yeah. Oh my lord, it's amazing. Or you ping a fucking container, and you're like, open container here, and everyone knows immediately that people have been through there. You ping a fucking helmet, and everyone knows. Oh, you ping a scout, and everyone knows that the best weapon in the game is here and also there. And when there's one over here, and there's another here, and yeah.
There's 2 there actually.
Yeah, like it is spectacular, like so fucking good.
I mean, so you look at that compared to, so obviously. Apex Legends is based off of PUBG. This idea that you've got 100 people land on an island and this shrinking circle till the last person survives. It's the same concept, except this one is now 60 people.
Yeah.
And shrinking circle, last one survives. But remember when, like, PUBG tried to implement that ping system, and we talked about it on the show, being like, they've goofed this up so badly. I was like, this is how you do it. It's so easy. Like, you just put it like this way or whatnot. And it took them about a month to get it to the point where they're at. And it's still not even like a normal ping system. You basically put a ping down, and on your compass, it highlights the color of your character, like they're in this general direction. So you're looking, like, they got to the point where they tried the ping system of having a marker drop on the actual landscape. People didn't like it. Like, it didn't work very well. Then they tried having like the marker on top of the compass, and that didn't work properly. And they got to this spot where it was sort of in between. And I still think it's pretty, like, they still want to have that hardcore mentality of like, don't make it too obvious. But it took them so long to get there. But the thing about the way the Apex Legends one work is that, yeah, like you said, the context about things that you ping all the time, or how you do it. If you double press your ping, then it marks it as an enemy. Or you can hold it down, and then you get a contextual wheel that says, like, I'm looting here, defend this area.
Yep.
I saw someone here. Don't go over, like, all these different things that sort of pop up that you can select, and it's so simple and it works intuitively that
you can reply to pings.
Yeah, you can reply to pings, like,
amazing.
okay, no.
Dibs, shit like that. Like, it's so fucking smart. So basic. Like, so fundamentally smart. Like, yeah, they're just on another fucking level with that shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the other big change, obviously, is respawning, which you mentioned.
Yeah.
The way that works is, it's at the moment, it is a 3-player squad game.
Yeah.
You can either play with friends, or you can jump in solo and it'll match make you up with other people.
Yep.
Whichever way you want. You start off on some sort of carrier, aircraft
Dropship
thing in the sky, a dropship. You pick a location on the map where you want to go, and you basically eject from there. And the smart thing it does again is it ejects all of the team at once.
Yep.
And the jump master, which is randomly picked, gets to select like, all right, we're going here, and they control all 3 players, unless somebody wants to do their own thing, which whatever, but that's up to them. But I think it's super smart the way they do it, because everybody can land at the same location and control where they're going and whatnot.
I found that I've started like separating in the end. Right at the end, like in the last 50 meters of the drop. I'll like separate off, just so that we don't all literally land on top of each other. And yeah, like you can find some loot a bit faster. You can get to the loot a little bit quicker that way, as opposed to someone having to run an extra 50 meters. But yeah, it's you all land at the same. Like you don't. If you're new to the game and you're a bit hesitant, you can literally give up being jump master, and someone who knows what the fuck they're doing can actually take you somewhere good. I was playing a quick game yesterday. I'm playing with a fucktard who dove immediately as soon as, like, you know, the countdown, jumped immediately, took it straight down. But he wasn't pressing W, so we're just sort of slowly
just gliding.
While 7 other fucking teams like fucking landed, and we could just watch them do it. And so I obviously got out and landed on my own, literally where we were aiming, but just faster. And he managed to swerve off and land somewhere different instead, and immediately got killed. And I got killed trying to get his respawn beacon. I could have like just bailed. I could have just left. I probably should have. I could have like immediately, as soon as I took over control of jumping, I could have just scooted off somewhere else and tried to do my own thing. Played a solo game, I guess. Anyway, when I died, I'm like, oh, maybe we shouldn't jump directly where the dropship is when it starts. And he got super upset, super fucking salty. Why don't you fuck off, cunt? It's just a battle royale game. I'll play it the way I want. I'm like, yeah, but you took all our ass down with you. Fuck stuff. Anyway, yeah, it is an awesome jump system. Like, they can't. Well, they have. They've put in tools to account for morons. Like, it's. Yeah. I was just not quick enough on the draw to do something about it, I guess. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and so then talking about the respawn system, once players start dying on your team, they drop crates on the ground, and you can go over and pick up like their dog tag or their player tag, and you've got about, I think it's 90 seconds to do that once they die.
Yeah. And
then there are respawn stations set up across the map, and if you get to a respawn station, you can you hold the interact button. It takes about, I don't know, 5 or 6 seconds, and then that calls in another dropship, and the people that are dead on your team and you've got their beacon spawns them back in with 100 health or maximum health, but no weapons, so they need to start from scratch again.
Yeah.
And that alone changes up fight, like the way you approach fights. Like, do you just disengage and hope that those people that killed the rest of your team leave, or are they going to camp your bodies? Like, do you try and push while the fight is still going, get the dog tags and just try and respawn, or do you just don't worry about them? And it's this thing of like, all right, it kind of forces you to stay and watch what happens in the rest of the game, and it means that you're not out once you die.
Yeah,
you can come back at the last moment and be resurrected and keep playing the game.
It's like some of the most epic moments that we've had have been out of you respawning me. The only time I've respawned anyone with any like real merit, like not just like picking someone up and walking over, like, you know, completely free environment, like just like, yep, I've killed everyone, now I pick you up and I respawn you and you go get some stuff, whatever, it's fine. The only time I've done that was I was playing with Champ Chong and Kleb, and Champ died pretty much immediately because he didn't land with me, which was a dumb idea, Champ. And I had to like run and get him. So I had to run like a full 60 seconds, like guns away, towards where we figured these dudes probably were, the dudes who killed him. And I ran in and I scooted around and just managed, like literally with seconds left, grabbed this thing, and then I just fucking ran away because we didn't have any fucking gear yet either. We had shit for gear, but we went and got him back in, and then we had like the guys must have seen me running away because they were shooting at me while I was getting back in, and then they like hunted us down. I don't remember, like I don't have map names yet in my mind, but you know, down like in the top northwest corner,
Hydro Dam.
Not Hydro Dam. That's the only one I know, and I know it's not Hydro Dam. But no, top northwest of the corner, there's that area where you can actually run through like little sewer tunnels. Do you know the one I'm talking about? Near the ring. Like, so the ring is here, and there's this space.
Oh, sorry, northwest. I was thinking the east. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were over there, and so we ran through the tunnel and
slums.
Maybe or just south of slums.
I think it's slums.
Because it's that big like sewage treatment type plant.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're there, and we ran in to get Champ some gear, and because he didn't have any gear on his body, so there was no point going back. But
no, of course not.
We had this epic fight. Like we were like, oh, we're so fucking cooked. Like we got shit all, and we're running in super late to this area. But because this other team came like chasing us down, they wound up clashing with the two teams that were already duking out in this fucking space. And so there was like this 4-team war in this one little area where we were all like hurriedly trying to get some fucking gear wherever the fuck we can. We're like, oh, I got a pistol, yay! Champ's like, yeah, I've got a grenade. And then like we roll in and manage to clean up. I think we walked out of there with like 3 kills apiece. Like all 3 of us had 3 kills by the time we walked away because we wiped out these 3 teams. Like, it was fucking amazing. We walked out fully geared and then we lost. Good times. But yeah, you have like pulled off some of the fucking craziest saves. There was that one where I left the delivery came while I died, and a delivery came. I'm like, fuck this shit. Okay, I'm gonna go fucking, and I come back, and I can hear my headphones, and you're like, Joab, you're back. Joab, you're back in the game. I like put my headphones on, and like, and there I am standing. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm back. Oh god, I gotta fucking loot. But you did it like the circle was coming in as well, like when we're outside the circle.
Yeah, go out. Like I've done that at a bunch where I just leave the circle and go respawn people.
Yeah.
And I think maybe they'll end up changing that.
Yeah.
Seems a little bit broken that you can come back with 100 health, and the circle damage is not that much at that stage of the game. Like maybe they need to change that a little bit.
Yeah.
PUBG had the same sort of problem where, remember, you could sort of just sit outside the circle.
Yeah.
They ended up fixing that. But at those stages, yeah, it's worth it for me to just leave the circle if the respawn station is outside of the safe area. Then yeah, just go do it. Why not? Because I'm gonna have a better chance of survival than me running around by myself with. You know, even if I've got no heals, my chances of survival is better with 2 other people playing.
Yep. You did another one last night where there were 3 teams left, us and 2 other teams. I got fucking wiped, and you like the circle was like on the hard right of this map, and the respawn. Yeah, at Hydro Dam. Yeah, the respawn was all the way over to the left, and you just fucking booked it. You went and fucking got me back in. Didn't like wasn't enough
to the other.
Everyone who was left had like fucking god tier weapons, and I'm like, well, I've got this fucking submachine gun.
I know we're getting shot by like because
I'm getting shot when I'm landing.
Yeah, so I went and rewatched it because we thought there was some sus stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I recorded that last bit. And as I'm like respawning, I'm getting shot by like 2 or 3 different people. You respawn, and while that's happening, I completely forget about the zone closing in behind us. And then all of a sudden, I'm outside of the zone and I'm taking a lot of damage. Like at that point,
It was like
starting
the
to chunk.
7th round or something, right? Yeah.
And the guy that was shooting me, that was really close, is like just shit himself and being like, "Oh god!" And then all of a sudden he's outside the zone. But he had he was, I can't remember. Sorry, I don't remember her name.
Right.
But she's the one that
the portal,
teleports.
yeah.
Yeah, and she had a portal set up, and so she went through the portal, and then I followed her and like shotgun her in the back.
Yeah.
And then what happened was the dude on the other team that was hiding was shooting
He got
her
me.
dead body. Yeah.
Yeah.
And was shooting you, and then turned around, started shooting the dead body that I'd killed, and then realized that I was there as well, and then like spun around
Yep.
and started shooting me. So yeah, they actually weren't together. He was just camping that last guy.
Yep.
But stuff like that. Yeah, the respawn system is really cool.
It's such an interesting introduction of risk versus reward. The way it does it is so, it feels so natural. Like you know that you can get someone back in. And you know it doesn't have to happen right away. Like, you don't need to immediately... you can wait till you get to a respawn beacon, or you can go to one that isn't particularly close by and you can fucking make it happen. I mean, wasn't there... There was another game. I've spent a lot of this game dead. 11 hours, and I'd say I've spent 3 of them dead. But,
So, Call of Duty did, a couple of weeks back, they had a respawn system in one of their feature modes, but that was... just like if you're the last one left and the circle gets to the
finishes,
point, finishes its circle, like the next round, then everybody in your team respawns. So they did that. That's the only really one that I can think of, apart from like the funny modes like PUBG does and whatnot, like the war modes. But that's not really part of the battle royale experience. It's just like a deathmatch.
This integrates it into part of the experience. It is a full-blown decision by a player to A, go and get the fucking tags so they can get you back up, and B, actually sit there at a fucking respawn beacon for 5 seconds, possibly under fire. Because you got me back up under fire when we were out, I think it must be north of Hydro Dam, in those shitty, in the fucking Ewok village. No,
sorry. Yeah, the Ewok village.
Yeah, in the Ewok village. Like, you were full-blown under fire getting me back up. I'm like, don't do it. It's pointless. Leave me. Yeah. I'm dead. But you got me back up.
I want a sack game for sure. Yeah, because you immediately got a gun. I think Drew went down, and there was only one dude left, and you were having like a shotgun war with him.
Yeah.
But there was a giant rock between me, you, and the other guy, and I'm trying to circle this rock, and every time I'm circling it, you guys are circling the opposite direction, and I'm getting annoyed because I'm like, fucking Joab, I'm trying to come up behind him, and you're going the wrong way, and eventually you go down, and then it's me and him, and I'm whiffing all of these shots with my shotgun. I think I hit him the first time, and then like 3 straight shotgun shots miss, and I was like, oh well, fuck it, alright, so I switched to my assault rifle, and that worked out a lot better.
He must have been out of ammo on their other weapon, because they just stood there and reloaded while you were like switching and assault rifling. They must have been all bingo on ammo, because otherwise they would have switched surely, right? I think they played that pretty well. I mean, when I got back in, I was like, I'll just run back to my body and get my stuff again. It'll be fine. And I run back to my body, and I'm like fucking under the heaviest fire I've ever been on in my entire life. Like, just fucking copping shit from all over the fucking place. I'm like, nah, I'll grab 2 guns and then I'll just get in cover.
I mean, even if you can be a decoy, take fire while your other teammate is shooting at them, that's still worth it, in my opinion.
Oh, totally.
Because even you could go down again, and then I could just revive you.
You're still 100 points worth of damage, right? Like, there's still 100 points of damage that you can soak that isn't going to someone who might actually be able to do something. Which is good. It's really handy.
So my first game, just to keep going with that respawn stuff, my very first game, we dropped into a place, I think it was south on the map somewhere, and there was another team with us, And when I dropped, I was still very like, it was my first game. I didn't really know what I was doing. And I'm running around in this area. I'm like, where is all the gear? Like, what is going on? And at that stage, I didn't kind of realize that majority of the gear is sort of inside of buildings. You occasionally find stuff outside, but they'll be inside of these like supply bins.
Yep.
And so I'm like, I'm doing the PUBG thing of running around, or the Fortnite thing, and being like, there's no gear on the floor. Like, where is it all?
Yep.
I find nothing within the first minute. Meanwhile, my other two teammates are in a fight with this other team. I end up leaving that area, running in the opposite direction, finding like a submachine gun, and then coming back with like 40 bullets. The other two guys on my team are dead, and I'm like, well, all right, this is what we do now. And so I was like, I'll just get myself killed, and we'll start again.
Yep.
I end up squad wiping the other team, and I pick up one of the beacons on one guy, and at that stage I'm still not really sure how it works. So I pick up one beacon, and then we're sort of near a respawn station, and I respawn him. By that stage, the second guy has already
expired,
like died.
Yep.
And I probably could have got him, but I didn't realize you could pick up both of them. I thought it was just maybe one at a time.
Yep.
And so I respawn him, and we ended up going on to win the game. Like, me and this other guy. He was like communicating, being like, "Oh, it's my third game that I've played, fourth game that I've played," and I'm like, "Oh, it's my first. Like, I've just got in. Sorry about like." I was apologizing to him because like, I didn't realize that I could pick you guys both up. Like, and I couldn't find any guns. Like, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it."
So
yeah,
you picked the right one then.
Yeah, I picked the right guy. Well, I ended up getting like 7 or 8 kills. I think he got like 2. I think he got 2
Yep.
towards the end there. But we got, man, like to the end of that game, he was Wraith again, the one with the teleporter.
Yep.
And we were screwed. We were on low ground at one point. There was another team up on high ground, and we had to go towards them. And he ended up putting down a bunch of portals behind the cover, and so I just used that, and like we got up on them. I was like pinging grenades while he was up there shooting them. Yeah, man, and we ended up winning that game. And the small things of just being able to respawn someone probably doesn't end up me winning that game, because I don't survive against 2 other teams by myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know you reckon Wraith's underpowered. She's not that good. I reckon a really like quick way they can make her a lot better is if her portals were like opaque to everyone except for her and her teammates. That'd be a big change.
And she can only put them down on a spot, right?
Yeah, if you could throw them, that might be
a bit different.
Like, I'm not saying like a portal gun that you can like shoot somewhere, but like if you could go throwing distance, it'd be pretty different. It'd be
we'll use the ping marker in a radius or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Like it'd be a big change to make her a lot more functional. But yeah, the fact that both team, like any team, can go through the fucking portal is pretty huge.
Yeah. And she's got like a passive whisper that notifies you when people are in
play. Yeah.
I haven't played her, so I don't know how that works.
Right. I played her a couple of times. It's just, I think it's when they are looking at you, like that paranoia in Blackout.
Sure.
I think that's how it's triggering. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think it's radius based. You can, because the fucking, your crow dude, he can hear people when they're nearby. Like, I think he's got like the ability to hear people a lot better.
Right.
Hear enemy footsteps and stuff. I think that's one of his passive abilities.
Yeah, and so that's the other thing, right? Is that there's characters, there's legends in the game, and they've all got unique abilities. I guess before the game was announced, the rumor was sort of like it was a cross between Overwatch and Rainbow Six Siege with the Battle Royale game.
Yeah.
So you're not just looting gear, you've got these legends with abilities, and they've all got special, like this is a DPS person, or this is a hunter, or a medic class. Like there's different combinations that you can sort of put together and see how they go. And some of them actually, it's that thing like Rainbow Six or Overwatch where the compositions sort of work with each other in some degree. And so the Bloodhound, such a unique character. Like, I'm trying to think sort of who else has something similar to this, and the only thing that sort of jigs my memory is Rainbow Six Siege, sort of like Caveira, where you can interrogate people and it shows you on the map where they are. that's very loosely like.
Or
sort of
maybe
what,
Jackal's footsteps.
Yeah, Jackal, like being able to track other players in the game, and the way it does it is so fascinating. Of like, when you're near or when another team is near you, you can see markers or indicators on around the area. That's like, oh, there was a footprint here, and it'll tell you on the screen like they were here 40 seconds ago or 20 seconds ago,
Yep.
and then you can start following these footprints and then start chasing people down. It's such an aggressive like character to use, because if you want to go out and hunt people, this is who you want to have on that team, because you can be like, all right, there's someone in this area, let's just follow these footprints. Like we did that exact same thing last night by me just following the clues that people leave behind, like, oh, there's some crows over here,
Yeah.
they've been around this part, like, all right, and then you follow the footprints and see where they're going. That stuff is really cool. He's also got his ability. So every character has an ability, a passive, and an ultimate.
Yep.
His ability is to, every 30 seconds, he can send out like a wave in front of him, and he'll be able to tell if somebody's in that area. Sort of like a wall hacks, except you can't see through the wall constantly. It's kind of sort of like a sonar ping,
Yeah.
where there's somebody here, and they're maybe running away, or they're crouching in a corner. If they crouch in a corner, you probably know they're still going to be there when you get there. But otherwise, like, gives you an idea that someone's around that area. And other people can see that ping come out as well. So if it's not like you get the jump on them, you definitely, at least I've seen that ping come out a bunch. So
Like, you can definitely see it, yeah.
yeah. And then his ultimate is it turns the screen sort of grayish, like monochrome, and enemies are highlighted in red. Footprints are highlighted in red, so you can sort of
He runs
track them.
fast, he can see through walls a lot. Like, the sonar ping seems to happen a lot more. Like, it's not permanent. You can't, like, permanently see through walls and shit, but you can see, like, you can really quickly track where someone is. And, yeah, he moves a lot faster as well. I think he might soak more damage.
I'm not 100% sure. I think if you damage people, it works differently, like, because I've seen different indicators on the screen, and I'm not sure if it's like, all right, now you're tracking their blood or something.
Okay.
Like a little heart icon.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure how that works, because it's a bit vague. But yeah, he's such like a hyper aggressive character.
Yeah.
Very suited to my play
Your
style.
play style, yeah.
Yeah. And then you've got like medic classes where
Yeah.
there's a medic who can throw out a robot, and it heals everybody that's near it. And the risk reward of that is like, you don't want to throw it down when you're in the middle of a fight close range with someone, because it heals the other team as well.
And it takes a while as well.
It takes a little while to trigger, so it's the kind of thing where if you're stuck behind a rock or somewhere and you're having a ranged fight, it's pretty helpful for that. She's also got like a deployable supply drop that she can drop down, which has a bunch of gear in it.
High level gear.
Could have like
Her
could have
ultimate
high
is
level gear.
no, it's always got at least one purple.
Right.
Her thing is probably one of the best ults in the game, just in terms of like sheer leveling the playing field. Because if you fuck up the loot section, but you've got her, and you can get a couple of those fucking ultimate amplifiers, where you get a bonus 20%. You can get a couple of those drops in before the end game. So if you can just survive long enough, you can wind up with some fucking top-notch gear, even though you landed somewhere shit and haven't managed to get anything better than a fucking SMG. You'll still be able to, do some good work, which is, good. Like, basically, if I find ultimate stuff and we got her on the team, I'll just give it to her.
And the risk there is that other people can see that drop coming in, so they can go after it.
So, they can work out where to go to catch it up and stuff. Which is, that is a pretty significant risk. Like, it does give away your position. It's not as apparent as the world drops, because there are world supply drops as well.
Yeah, sort of like crates in PUBG or crates in Fortnite. I don't even know what the Fortnite crates are called. Probably crates. Which have high level gear, generally gear in it.
Or crates in Blackout.
Like there are weapons in those supply drops that only spawn in those crates.
Yeah. They are gold tier, because they do the classic loot tiering system. So there's gold, purple, blue, green, and white. Is there? I don't think there's green. No, there's no green. There's gold, purple, blue, white, and yellow. Like gold is the top tier. The really good shit. There's a gold sniper rifle that will fuck you up, but it is really slow to scope. So you can't like quick scope, which I learned the first time I was trying to use it. I was like getting pushed, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Scope in, I'm like getting the fuck shot out of me. I'm like, no, unscope. Oh, now I can't shoot. Fuck. And I'm dead. And there's a gold tier shotgun, which is disgusting. It fucking wrecks. It is hideous. It's basically my favorite, the Peacemaker, the lever action. But
like that one.
But fires a lot faster.
Does a lot of damage.
Forget about it. Spectacular. And there's like gold scopes, gold. I had gold armor and a gold helmet last night. Gold armor makes it so that if you execute someone, you get all of your armor gets fully replenished. And gold helmet makes your ultimate recharge faster.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, they've all got a bunch of different things. The gold sniper scope highlights people in red, like bloodhounds ult does.
Yeah.
So you can see people in red real clear.
Threat detector.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've used one of them before. But that's the other thing it does really smartly, is that all the weapons, not only is it like tiered, but they're all color-coded, including ammo and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, like, shotguns are red. You've got light rounds are like brown, and like heavy ammo is like blue aqua color.
Yeah.
So you can immediately identify weapons and sort of what tier, like what type of weapon you've got. Like, oh, this is a shotgun, or it's SMG, or an assault rifle, light machine gun. That stuff is extremely smart, and it means that you can quickly observe the ground and be like, all right, I need this type of ammo.
Yeah.
I know what I'm looking for off the bat. Like, do I need green ammo? Do I need blue? Is it brown? You know, that sort of thing. Extremely smart stuff there as well.
Yep.
So that's good.
Yep.
The other thing, like, I've not seen it in a game before. The shotgun hit indicators.
Oh yeah.
Like, when you hit someone with a shotgun, in every other game you're like, I hit them. Like, I know I hit them. What the fuck happened?
How did it not do that much damage? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shotgun indicator is like, the way shotguns work generally in video games is they're pellets, and so there's multiple bullets that come out, and each one does a certain amount of damage generally. And in this game, what they do is the same. They actually show you which pellets are hitting players, and then on top of that, sort of how much damage they're doing. Like, are you hitting vital areas? Sometimes there'll be like a orange, like a red indicator, or sometimes they might be a yellow, and then you can see like, oh, I only hit them one pellet.
Yeah.
And it'll show you like a damage number that'll come up, or if you really wrecked them, like, you'll see a spread of like red bullets.
I think it's like a grid of 3x3, so you'll see like 9. If you got them fucking center mass, you'll see 9 dots, and you're like, okay, that one hit. That was a good shot. Cool. Excellent. Yeah.
And immediately you get that feedback straight away of being like, oh, I hit them really good, or like, like, did I just whiff that shot? Like, I swear I hit them so many times.
Yeah.
That stuff is really smart. And then like the damage indicators above people's heads of the RPG thing, like of numbers, being like, oh, you hit them for 45 damage or whatever. But then they go another step further there, being like, they're all color coded again. So if you hit someone that's got purple armor, the damage number is purple. Or if they're like, depending on what type of armor they've got, the actual number that comes off them will be a certain color as well. So you can get a gauge of like, all right, I'm just smashing this dude, but why are they not, like, how much armor has this person got? So that is really like smart. Again, on top of that, so the way it works with the health system is you've got armor and they're all tiered again, and then you've got health on top of that. So you shred people's armor away, and then you start taking away health. Pretty much the same system Call of Duty uses, and we were pretty big advocates of putting in like some sort of armor system in Call of Duty, like having like shards or like armor plating or something that you could sort of revitalize your shield plating. That way it sort of incentivizes you to take fights as opposed to be passive and Because if you take a fight and suddenly you've got no armor left, like what's the point anymore? You can't pick up. You're at end game. You've just disadvantaged yourself.
Yeah.
Eventually, Call of Duty put in armor plating, which worked pretty well.
Yep.
And they've got that exact same system in here.
Yeah.
Except the only difference is that it's the same system that Call of Duty originally came out with, where you could heal yourself anywhere. And that's the same system they've got here, is that you can recharge yourself on the fly as you go. I think it works pretty good.
I mean, the movement speed decrease is very significant.
Yeah.
So like it's not like you're fucking powering about recharging your fucking armor and shit. You don't move very fast. It's enough to allow you to like sort of keep an eye on whether or not someone's fucking coming. Like you can peek outside of a window while you're recharging your armor, but like you can't fucking charge them. You can't rush them while you're recharging your armor. So I think it's a good system.
And unlike Blackout, it actually takes up slots in your inventory as well. Whereas in Blackout, you've got like a separate slot for armor shards. So this one is actually taking up space in your inventory. So you could have 14 shields, but you're using that space what could be used for utility or ammo or something like that.
I think the only thing is that I think they stack, like the little ones stack 6 apiece.
Yeah, and I think they're 25 a heal, right?
They're like a chunk, right?
Right.
They're 1 bar.
Or maybe it's 50.
No, because I don't know how much armor you get out of purple level.
Yeah.
We get 4 bars. I think it should stack 4 bars, four chunks apiece. You should get 4 shield cells per stack, not 6. Because I have a video of me sitting there rank tanking my fucking balls off, and I've just got shield cell after shield cell, and I'll like duck out and have a look and see if it's safe to go out, and I'll cop a spray and I'll shield cell, duck out again, shield cell, duck out, throw a grenade, shield cell, because I had fucking 12 of the fucking things, like 2 slots filled. That's too many. Like, it was funny, but it's way too many. Yeah. Like, that's probably my only criticism of that in particular. Like, just lower the amount you can carry. Because I think that would be a heavy, like, a good way to rebalance that.
Right. So change the stack, you mean?
Yeah, change the stack to just 4 instead of 6. Because then, 1 stack would fully heal purple or gold armor, but that would be it. Yeah, and then you've got the other ones. Yeah, it must be 100. It must be 25 a pop, like for a purple. So 25 a bar, and at purple you've got 100 because one of those shield batteries that do 100, they do a full resupply on the big stuff. And then you still got to heal your health as well. So health is separate to shields. You still got to manage that shit as well.
It's the same way as Blackout.
Yeah.
You can, heal yourself on the fly, run around or walk around. It's pretty slow, but it's very quick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 7 seconds. 7 seconds for the med kit. 10 seconds for that. The big one, the whatever the fuck it's called, the Phoenix. Yeah. 10 seconds for that. 7 seconds on the battery, and I think it's like 3 seconds on
for the syringe.
Yeah.
So same stuff as, again, Blackout. I think the only thing it's really doing differently in terms of item management is ammo.
Yeah.
It's not in a separate spot, so you've actually got to manage your ammo. And
It's
that's kind of one of my criticisms, is that
I don't
sort of
hate
tied to that, is that I think the clips on the actual weapons start off a bit too small.
Yeah.
Because you have to get, there are attachments for guns, as you said,
Yep.
and they're tiered. So you can get like a blue extended magazine, and that'll give you like 5 more bullets, or a purple will give you like 10 more or something like that. And a lot of them have really low sort of ammo capacity to start off with. They give me like 20 bullets, and it just feels like in fights you're just constantly reloading, like all the time. I'd like it. Maybe it needs to be changed a little bit, but I feel like the reloading there's too much reloading going on sometimes in those games.
Yeah, especially on like the SMGs, you have so few bullets in them, and you do so little damage with, like, I don't even think a full clip would be enough like, and you don't reload fast enough. So like you go into a battle, unless you're against unarmored players with an SMG and you are doing enough damage before you have to reload to make it a viable prospect, you know. Yeah, absolutely. Like, they need to do something about that in particular. Like, I don't know. SMGs just need more bullets, really. Like, more bullets per clip from the get-go. Because we're all walking around with a fucking 14 bullet alternator at the start. You may as well throw handfuls of dirt at people. Like, it's not really going to matter. If they found a fucking body armor, it's over, son. They could probably punch you to death.
Right.
Yeah. We didn't talk about my favorite dude, Caustic.
Yep.
He's the best. He is the best. Everyone's going to wake up real soon and work out that he is the worst. But for now, he's the best.
Right.
His ultimate ability is not very good. He throws out a big toxic grenade, and it does a big spread of toxic gas damage.
Sure.
But his Q, his regular ability, is he drops these gas traps, and if anyone runs in proximity to them, they pop and spew out the same gas as in his ult. And yeah, he can.
So it does a little bit of damage, right?
So it does 1 DPS per second, but it stacks.
Right.
So that 2 seconds it's doing 2 seconds, and 3 seconds it's doing 3 seconds per second, 4 seconds, etc., etc. Yeah, I think it's either not enough to kill you, or it's only just enough to kill you if you were to stand in the fucking gas for the entire duration of the gas.
Right.
Either way, it does, like, it ignores shields, which I think is part of the panic. So it does straight health damage, not shield damage. Yeah. But you will still have shields if you're in it. So the other things Caustic can see through the gas. He can see anyone in his gas. So there's that chick who throws out smoke. But if you put gas down, you can still see through the gas, which is good. But yeah, basically, it doesn't do enough damage for it to be a legitimate threat. The bigger threat is not being able to see shit, and definitely being seen by Caustic. But for now, until people work out that they just need to push through, wear a couple of hits from Caustic, and then, like, pound the fuck out of him. Until people work that out, because he doesn't have any other abilities. It's not like if you were to power through with the smoke chick and then drop the smoke on him, you would have him free. You would absolutely have him free. You've got way more smoke than he does, way more ability to do, like, to get through and around and see through that shit. So yeah, you'd have all the advantage. Or if you were to power through and drop the shield, you'd be able to stop it from doing long range damage. You'd have to come up close. Yeah, like, there's all sorts of things, all sorts of ways you can power through his fucking gas. But
it slows down your movement, right? And it blurs your vision, I think.
Maybe it blurs it a bit, yeah. But it's
only
only
because
only while
you're
you're
on the other end of it.
Right.
Majority of the time.
Sure.
It's from yours. Affects teammates.
Whatever. Once you're out of the gas, it doesn't work anymore. It's amazing. People, like, panic their fucking balls off when they're in that smoke. Like, they lose their shit. They cannot handle it. They're like, and then you, like, all you have to do is shoot him once. So with Caustic, I'll go shotgun sniper every single time, and I'll just put it at some sort of choke point and dare them to come through. I have literally won games because people couldn't work out how to get through the gas. And it is just run through. Your options are not run through and have me continue to chip away at you, or run through immediately, like immediately push the gas, get through and take me on, like, without gas around. Or, yeah, let me chip you down over time until you've got nothing left.
So what's the deal with, if you shoot them, it doesn't blow up, but it just triggers it, right?
Yep.
So could you just constantly block a door?
Yeah. Yeah, I do it all the time. My favorite
Like,
fucking
yeah.
move is to drop it in a doorway, and then like I don't even need to pop it. I just need to have it there so that people can't like come in because it's a physical object. You have to jump over it. It takes you time to jump over it as well. If the other thing you can do is if you see it far enough out, you can shoot it and just let it dissipate. It only replenishes every 15 seconds, so
Hmm.
yeah, it's not like the like it'll come back without you doing anything. Like you can wear them out. You can outpace them. At best, he's got 90 seconds worth of gas. So if you can wait a minute and a half, you're okay. Like
Right.
you won't even have to push it. But yeah, I literally have won games by putting it at a choke point and then daring them to come through. Yesterday I had a game where they just died to the zone instead of trying to die to my gas traps. It was spectacular. But I did have that gold sniper rifle thing. So
Yeah, it works through that.
it works through that. So I was able to see them in the red through the gas, and I was popping them with that as well. So it was clearly quite hairy. I think they might have been trying to go all the way around the other side, and they would have had to run out of the gas out into the circle and cop some damage from that. That might have been their plan. I don't know, but I definitely locked down basically their only avenue of attack. It was beautiful. Yeah, he is amazing, but once you work out that you can just push him. It's not that hard to deal with. There's that one other dude that I haven't used yet, the decoy guy. Mirage. I am 600 points, 600 coins or whatever the fuck away from unlocking him.
Right. Yeah, because the game, it's free to play, so
Yeah.
it uses in-game currency, which you can obtain by playing the game.
Yeah.
And depending on, I guess, your ranking, I think that's how it works. You get coins, and then you can use those coins to unlock other characters. It starts off with most of them unlocked. There's 2 of them at the moment that aren't, and you have to unlock them. So I'm guessing the way that'll work is they'll release a bunch of characters over time, and you have to use those coins to either unlock them or pay real world money. But it's not. I mean, I think they do a pretty good job of sort of telling you how much time sort of you need to play and that sort of thing. Like a lot of the stats they're showing in the game for the way cosmetics work and whatnot, percentages on chances to get legendaries and rares, and pretty open about that.
Yeah, they're very upfront with all of that.
Yeah, so that's good, but it doesn't. It's like it's not a huge grind. I'm feeling like the stuff I've got at the moment. It seems to be quite similar to the way that maybe like a Rainbow does it. Like it's still definitely you can pay for that stuff, but you can definitely just play the game.
Yeah, Caustic is one of the ones you have to pay for. I got him because I have Origin Access Premiere or whatever the fuck. So I got 1,000 free coins. So I spent 750 of them on him. Yeah, so that's how you can get one of them. The other one's like 600 of these. No, 1,200 points. I'd say you earn about 100 an hour. So yeah, you are sort of looking at 12 hours, I guess.
Per character, yeah.
Per character? I don't think that's unreasonable, to be honest.
Yeah, for a free, yeah. And they've got other things in there, like all the cosmetic items are really well done. There are like finisher moves for characters. Like if you down somebody, you can go and do like a finisher move, which earns you extra bonus experience.
And if you've got gold armor, all of your armor points back.
Yeah, right. It's a perk.
Yeah.
And every time you level up in your profile, you get a loot box, and then that's got either cosmetic items in it. So everything is cosmetic, except for the part where you're unlocking characters. So it's, yeah. What else is there? There's like just a lot of cosmetic stuff for the characters. Tracking emblems, like how many kills somebody got, or how many like times they've used their healing ability on their teammates. Like you can track all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And that is something that sort of the aesthetic is played out throughout the game, like the game world. It's like this big competition, and so you see giant LCD screens or banners
massive
around
banners,
the world.
yeah.
and it's got like, hey, this is the team that's winning at the moment. They've got the most kills. Here's the person who's the champion in the game. They've got the most kills. You get an extra 500 XP if you end up downing that person.
Yep.
Really smart, like gameplay wise things. Like you can run around and be like, oh yeah, I'm on the banner on the screen. And like the voiceover kind of tells you when that stuff is happening. Like when it, like the champion's being killed, or like we have a new champion, like 6 kills, whatever.
New kill leader, first kill, all that kind of stuff. It's also all in game as well. It's not like some voice in your head or something. It's like it comes from these speakers in the game, which have like scared the fuck out of me so many times because they do like a sort of mic turning on noise every time they do it. It'll be like kung kung, and I'm like fuck. It'll be the speakers. We have a new kill leader. I'm like, fucking shut up! Oh fuck! Oh, you did it! You got me again, you son of a bitch!
Yeah. And if you're between like different megaphones, you hear it sort of echoing between 2 different ones that are coming throughout the world.
Yep.
That stuff's really cool.
It is.
The and just talking about like the smart things it does with that, just the UI system. We've talked about the ping stuff. You've got HUD icons on the side of the screen that shows you your teammates and like how much health they've got, how much armor they've got. The only thing it doesn't really add in there is their helmet level, and sort of what like they're running in terms of a backpack and whatnot. That could be maybe a little bit helpful.
It shows if you're, I believe it's proximity based. If you're close enough, it shows bursts when they're shooting, which is the fucking crazy smartest shit I've ever seen. It is so fucking good.
Flashes.
So you don't need to be all like, who's shooting? Because you can see the muzzle flash on their nameplate. It is brilliant.
Or even who's getting shot at. Like if somebody's getting shot at, it'll show you. But also you'll get a voiceover from the person saying like, I'm being shot at. So that's
so much passive information. Yeah. It is awesome.
I don't know, we used to do that in PUBG, like, who's shooting? Who's shooting?
Yeah.
Now you don't have to say that. You just literally look at the screen and be like, okay, that person's shooting. That stuff is really smart. The way you can swap weapon attachments is really quick. I know PUBG's recently done this, but in Apex Legends, you can just swap your weapons and any attachments you've got on that gun automatically transfer straight away. There's no like throwing items on the ground or moving them around in your inventory to this micromanagement system and making space. It's super elegant.
It was one of the things I was doing a lot of when I first started playing, was attempting. I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll just get this HCOG or whatever the fuck, and I'll just put it on this gun.
Yeah.
How do I do that? And I'd be like switching guns, or like picking it up, and it'd be taking the scope off my other gun and putting it on there, and I'm like, no, none of this. And until I worked out that some guns can't have a HCOG or whatever the fuck. Like you just, I didn't put it together yet, and I was so used to like that manual sort of switcheroony shit, and I was getting sort of pissed off. Until now, it's like, if the stuff I've got can be used, I will keep it on the gun, the next gun I pick up, and if it can't be, then, and even like because I prefer the heavy ammo weapons largely. So I will generally, if I see like a purple heavy magazine, ammo magazine, I'll pick it up even if I don't have one yet, even if I don't have the gun yet, so that when I do get it, I'll be able to put it in. It will automatically take it out of my inventory and put it into the fucking gun. Like, it just automatically works out that that's what I'm trying to do. It's spectacular. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's super smart the way it does.
Yeah.
Like a lot of that stuff, you no longer just... I guess the thing I would like on there maybe a bit more is like kind of understanding damage numbers, and I think Blackout was doing the same thing. Like you didn't really know how much, like, is this a good damage like SMG, or is it like a fast rate of fire? You're kind of just at the point where you're learning. I've seen people doing the training facility on the game and getting like damage numbers off of the dummies to see like how much damage is sort of coming off of the dummies, and like what's the best like sort of sniper rifles, and and then they're like marking out graphs in terms of rate of fire and whatnot. It'd be good if the game had a bit more information, that sort of stuff, because right now it's sort of trial and error and learning just by playing, like what's a good gun, and then it'll get to the point where they'll start nerfing weapons and whatnot, and then like, all right, you've just got to know find a new notes.
gun,
and like things like that. So I wish there was some sort of damage numbers or like rate of fire or stuff like that on there. It'd be good.
That would be good
to sort of see that sort of stuff. But I think for the most part, the UI is pretty good. I'm not a fan of the looting system at the moment. It sort of opens up a window on the left-hand side of the screen, and I feel like that's quite big. It does tier a lot of it, so it'll be color-coded in certain stacks, and the good stuff is generally on top when it's in, like, it's all grouped
looting
together,
dead
like,
bodies, yeah,
like this is the ammo section, this is weapons, this is gear, this is health. Like, health's generally at the bottom, or utility items. The way I like Call of Duty, it's similar to PUBG. It's like you've got a scroll bar on the side. The way Call of Duty does it in Blackout, it's all on the screen, like in front of you.
There,
So you can look at it quickly and be like, all right, nothing, I'm out. Whereas in this one, you're scrolling and you're like, okay, yeah, there's nothing here. But what they do, which is really smart, is that downed players, when you kill them, they spawn these like giant crates, and the crates will have their name on it, like presented really well, and they're color coded. So if you kill someone and they've got purples on them, or they've got exotic weapons, their crate will be yellow or purple, and you're like, all right, it's worth going for that, because maybe they've got stuff that, you know, is higher tier than me. But if you're running like all purples and they've got like a blue crate, and you're pretty good with heals and whatnot, then you're like, I probably don't need to go get that sort of stuff. So that's a smart addition. But I just like to see them tidy up the looting part a bit more. Like, maybe I want to see it all in one screen or something. I don't know.
I agree.
Because I guess what they're trying to do is have that front sort of, you know, area be visible, so you can see if people are coming to you. Like coming towards you or whatever. But maybe that's like the risk reward, is like, if you're looting someone, maybe you shouldn't be able to see like what's in front of you. Who knows? So that'd be something I'd like to see them tidy up a bit. But what else is there, man? There's like on the map there are hot zones. So you start off on the map, this carry we talked about. So there'll be like randomly generated areas where it's like a high tier area, and if you go there, you're guaranteed high valuable loot. But everybody can see that, so that's like, do we drop there, or do we? It's kind of like a moving school in PUBG, or the moving was it estate? What's like the hot zone in Blackout? Probably estate.
Estate.
Yeah, like that. Like, where's the place that everybody drops? Or like Tilted Towers in Fortnite. Like, this is kind of like, all right, the moving area. Like, it's always somewhere different. Smart, really smart idea. And then they've got this carrier, this giant like loot carrier that flies around the map. I think it's in Fortnite, like I think it's in Fortnite, maybe. I know it's not something in PUBG, but or Blackout. But I felt like they had like a bus or something that drove around.
I don't know.
Apart from the battle boss. Anyway, maybe they don't. But it's like this moving high-tiered loot area that lands somewhere on the map. But if you're near it when you sort of first fly into the map, you can actually land on it while it's flying around.
It's moving, that
stuff is pretty crazy.
We when we were wrapping up last night, I was playing with Racy and Squirrel, and we're like, okay, we'll do one hot drop to wrap this shit up. And we landed on it alone. Literally nobody else. I've never seen nobody land on this fucking thing. And we were there alone. And we're like, I landed on like the fucking Peacemaker, my favorite shotgun, and I landed on a blue shield. I'm like, I'm fucking ready. Let's go. Nobody. I'm like, for the love of Christ. Yeah, that was a good one. We ended that game third, I believe. We had this fucking house locked down, or so I thought. Squirrel was covering the roof. I went back and watched my video, and I distinctly say, okay, I'm watching the east. And about a minute later, Squirrel's like, okay, I'm watching the east. And I must not have heard him, or I must have figured he said the west, that he was watching the west. or some other fucking useful area as opposed to the direction that I was watching. Yeah, no, we were both watching the same direction, and they were all racing, and Squirrel both like clomping about and shit. And then I'm like, no, shut up. And that was the moment, like, I could hear the footsteps of another team who ran in, and yeah.
Swatted the doors open.
They didn't even need to. They just walked in. Racy wasn't facing the door that they walked into, which he shouldn't have been because it was outside of the circle. Like, I don't blame that one. They came in through the roof where Squirrel was, watching the wrong fucking direction. So yeah, we got fucked. Actually, I took down 2 of them, but I couldn't get the 3rd on my own. I guess it was fucking close though. If I'd been Toxic Boy, I wasn't Caustic. I was Bloodhound. If I'd been Caustic, it would have been over. It would have been fucking over. Had my shotty, had gold armor, gold helmet. Should have been too easy, but no.
Right.
Got it.
No vehicles in the game.
No vehicles.
They have, like in most of these games, you kind of, the circle restricts in different phases, and you want to stay in the circle, and generally if you're inside maybe you're at a poor area, like really far away from the circle of like where you need to be, the next zone. If you're far away, then you get a vehicle, and you get over there. No vehicles though. They've got these like redeployable stations with the ropes that go up in the air. Zip lines up to these balloons, and once you get to the balloon, it like allows you to redeploy the way like you jetpack around, like you do when you're dropping. It's not super far, but it allows you to get far enough that you can get some momentum going, and then it allows you to, all right, do I find the next one? If you're pretty far away, then you can start like flying to the next balloon thing, and you can start chaining them. That's such a smart idea as well.
It's a really, really good idea. I mean, especially because they are areas of conflict. They're places for people to specifically look at and bear in on. So people will actually look for them and try to use them. So it's very likely we ran into it. I think you were in that game, but we were chaining our balloon drops, and we got to the next one, and another team was running for it at the same time.
Doing the same thing.
And there was a fucking firefight. We won it, obviously, but yeah, like it's cool. Like there's so many little tiny areas of conflict that don't necessarily wouldn't necessarily be reasons for conflict in other games. There's something else. Oh, there's that dude that we were playing with the rando. So you and I were duoed. We played with the rando, and he was using it. He was going up the balloon and then scooting out. And he had his was it a sniper rifle? And while he was in the air, he was like picking them off, and then he'd scoot back down onto the roof with you, I think. Like that was fucking amazing. That was genius. That was some real wild shit.
And he was telling me to come and do it. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, you're nuts. I'm going to stay down here.
Crazy.
That way, when you get shot, I'll defend down this area. You do that flying thing up on the roof thing.
I have a good one where I rank tanked us from me and Racy and Squirrel from 7th to 2nd. Like, literally just sat there in a corner and got mildly circle blessed the entire time. As Caustic, like just keeping mines down, so like gas down, so that they couldn't get up to me, and then just rank tanked us all the way to 2nd. What happened was we were coming down this hill, and we got fucking sandwiched by 2 teams, and they got fucking ripped to shreds, and I just fucking I turned to go get them, and then I saw both teams were pushing. They were sort of having a bit of a fight, but they were also shooting at me. So I'm like, no, fuck it. I turned around and I just fucking ran off the side, ran up to the balloon, and then scooted the fuck away. And they were it was like there was a truce between the 2 teams, because 6 people were suddenly fucking shooting at me while I'm going with this fucking zip line. None of them hit me. So I just scoot away and hide and heal, and then fucking just inch my way into the fucking zone, and then rest is history. 2nd place. Wasn't ever coming first. Oh my god. There was still 3 of them, and they had me so fucking free. yeah, my hiding spot had one exit, and they knew exactly where I was.
Right.
But they didn't have any grenades, so good ones.
We had some good ones yesterday. There was that one where there was 3 teams left, and it was me and you with some random dude. He was already dead, and it was like south of, I think it's Skulltown, where there's a bunch of like square rectangle shaped rocks and some zip lines that go up to like a floating platform in the sky.
Yep.
And we'd sort of split up a little bit, and you were coming down. There's like a giant skeleton or something around there, like a giant dinosaur skeleton. Oh, and the movement's really quick. You can slide down on the ground, and it makes you move
really way faster. Quickly.
Yeah, like slide down hills.
Yeah.
And so you've like pushed in from there, and the guys up top of this floating platform are shooting people below them that are hiding behind these rocks, so they haven't really noticed us yet. And so we start flanking, and I'm sort of on their right hand side, and you're sort of on like their south left hand side. And you end up like taking one of them down up on this platform with, I don't know, a sniper rifle or something.
Yeah, it was the gold one, the Kraber. Yeah.
And then I'm just like, just fucking push him, let's go. And so we push these guys, we get on the zip line, and both of them, there's like 3 zip lines up to this platform, and we push them. They end up reviving their other guy in that time, but all of a sudden we've just breached this thing because we know we're in a better position than they are.
Yeah.
And we end up killing, I think you killed both of the guys up on that platform.
Yeah. I
went down to one of them, and but we won that fight, and now all of a sudden we've got the high ground.
Yeah.
And it's us versus the dudes that they were shooting at, but they had the circle, and so we needed to get into that circle and kill them. And I was struggling quite a bit because I didn't have a sniper scope or anything on me.
Yeah.
I kind of just had an assault rifle, and every time I had a lot of health, so I just kind of peek out every once in a while and just take some hits, like just to see where they are.
They definitely had scopes. They 100% had 6 spies. So yeah, they were able to, like, every time you poked your head out, they were taking fucking real good shots. Yeah.
But I was basically just wasting their time. Like, that was what I was trying to do, is because I had enough health, I could just re-heal all the time, and I was just making sure that they wouldn't move from that spot.
Yeah.
And then so we waited until the circle started closing in on them. It was like the second last circle, maybe, or maybe I think it was like second last. And then just as it got to us, I threw out my ultimate, and I was Gibraltar, and he's got this sort of like artillery strike that comes down, and he throws a grenade in an area, and then it just gets bombarded. And so then I throw.
Is that the one
down.
where the missiles stick out of the ground?
No, that's the lady.
Oh, that's the smoke chick.
I don't remember her name.
Neither do I.
Yeah, but they drop into the ground and then they explode after a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Whereas this one just artillery strikes the ground really quickly.
Yeah.
And so I drop that on them, and then they start getting hit, and it's like, let's go. Let's just push them while this is happening.
Yeah.
And there's no fall damage in the game, so you jump off, I jump off, and we just start flanking them while the missile like are dropping. They're still
getting fucking bombarded. And that like, is that the one, like, does Gibraltar's like flash you a little bit, or is that the chick's?
I'm not sure. Like, I'm not really sure the differences between the two. It doesn't really explain it that great. I just know that one of them drops and takes a while for it to actually blow up.
Yeah.
And the other one just starts hitting areas.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, like, it blurs your vision and shit, and you're like, shit's hard to deal with. So yeah, we pushed them. I had a shotty and the sniper rifle, so we just fucking. You went, you went like hard to the right, and like we just fucking pincered them.
Yeah, so I went around the back, and you were in front of them.
Yeah.
And that was stuck because he was like trying to hide behind a rock while I was shooting at him anyway.
Yep.
Like, I don't think he knew I was there.
Yep. Yeah, that was.
And the other time was last night. We were playing with Anakin
Skycomer.
As soon as that game started, I think I said to you, "Oh, this is gonna be a good game with like this guy with his name." Such a bad name. But he was communicating.
He got the save on us. Like, we were both downed at one point, and he managed to finish off the squad wipe and got us both back up. And we were like, "Good one, Annie."
Yeah. But we got to the end of that game.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened, but we got to inside the circle, and then I look around, and the next moment you're pushing like a team outside of the circle. I'm like, "What are you doing? Why are you out there?"
There was that fucking the drop pod was out there, and all I wanted to do was go throw a fucking gas trap on the drop pod, because they would have to go through the gas trap, and I'd be able to see them while they're doing it, and I had my sniper rifle. So when I got back to you guys, I'd be able to like snipe them and see them at the same time, because we had the circle. But I fell down the little rocks
right.
while I was trying to throw the gas trap. So then I had to take the fight, I guess. Yeah, I fucked up a little bit. And yeah, so I had to take the fight. And so, yeah, you guys had to come over. I got like 2 downs, but yeah, then I got downed, and you called in the fucking Artie again. You got like 4 fucking kills. It was disgusting. A squad wipe in there as well.
Yeah,
and it wasn't the squad. That was like there were 2 squads.
Squad.
2 squads on the same.
So you were
squad.
shooting the guys at the actual the deployable the supply drop.
Yeah.
But there was another squad that was running up, and they were shooting at you as well, and that's who I thought you were fighting.
Yeah.
And so I'm shooting at these guys, and then I'm like, oh well, I'm just gonna sacrifice Joab, and so I tell you like I'm gonna throw this nuke out, and then the moment I throw it, you go down.
Yeah.
And then this, like, it just starts getting bombarded, and I'm getting hits on my screen, and then it's like 1 knock, 2 knock, and then it's like you've eliminated the 2 knocked guys, and then I get a 3rd one, and then like I'm just wiped out.
That was another team as well, and so
it was a different team, but I didn't know that at that stage, and then so I run over while I'm getting all these knocks, and I'm like, oh well, I'll just revive you. But only to start getting shot by the guys at the supply drop, and then I fucking panic, because the moment they start shooting me, our teammate jumps in front of me, and I'm getting shot. I'm like, oh fuck! And so I'm trying to shoot him until I realize, oh, that's my teammate. Who's shooting at me? Oh, it's these guys. And then I panic, and I throw out my He's also got like a shield,
massive,
which stops fire for 15 seconds. And it was only I just panicked and threw it, and just to stop me getting shot, because I needed to go outside the zone to get back in. Back into cover. But what I should have done was thrown it on top of you, and then revived you. But I completely fucked that up. But the problem was that they were outside the zone. Well, the zone started coming in, and me and the other guy were like fucking sinking our brains, and we were running sideways while watching them run in. And then we're just pinging them while they were running in. Like they were screwed completely.
It was good. You guys had him so fucking pinned. But he was Wraith, and he was playing Wraith. And so he'd put the portal down as well, so that he'd like scoot all the way back, and like moments after you scooted back, the fucking portal was outside of the zone anyway, so it's not like they could have used it.
Right.
A couple of times they've used the portal as bait. You drop a portal, and then you run back through it and turn around with a shotgun, and they come like chasing you down straight into your fucking shotgun. Surprise, motherfuckers! That's pretty good. No, that was a good guy. That was spectacular. And Anakin Skycomer was a big fan of that bombardment as well. I've found that like people are generally more willing to be friendly. I think because they've got more general information. Right, like you still come across some fuckheads, but like it's just sort of passively very friendly, like people are just.
And that was my surprise with Blackout as well, when I started playing with randoms. I don't know, you read about things on the internet, how people are dickheads in some of these games, it turns out most of them are right.
Well, like I think like it's very easy to sort of generalize, but on the other hand, like I imagine the ping system is going to make it easier for chicks who play games to have a more reasonable time with random people, like because they won't need to talk. I've seen so many videos lately of like dudes being fuckheads just because a woman has a woman's voice, and it is some bullshit, eh? Like, oh man, the amount of fuckheads out there who are just fuckheads for no reason. These like the amount of times, because you can only hear voice from people on the same team as you. The amount of times, right? Like the very common fucking like defense is, oh, we're just trying to throw her off so we can win. But if they're on the same team as you, what are you doing it for there, you fuckhead? Like you're just being doing it to be a dickhead, and
Right.
yeah, that's some shit. That's some bullshit. Yeah, that's fucked.
Mm.
Anyway,
Yeah. So mostly positive experiences. I've been having a lot of crashes. I think you've
yeah,
had. I've had like
I think
a
I've had,
lot.
I think I've had two. You've had a
Yeah.
couple of big ones. Really, like really bad timing as well. Like always, when I feel like we're well geared and about to win, and then you'll crash, and I'll be like, "Well, this one's over."
Yeah. I've seen yours crash a couple of times.
Yeah.
I saw some of the other guys in our crew crash, but mine's been doing it maybe we were playing yesterday for a while, and then all of a sudden, like 3 out of like 7 games I was crashing like
Yeah.
that. Like it just started happening. There's been connection issues. My crash in particular, I know it is a problem. There's a big thread on the support page
Yep.
with people having all sorts of issues. It seems to be like 80% of them are having 20 series cards, so it could be something to do with that.
Right.
So hopefully they can fix that pretty soon.
Yep.
In saying that, there's no reconnect get in the game at the moment.
Yeah.
So if you drop, that's it. You're out. That was a problem that PUBG was running into. They ended up putting that reconnect feature in the game because you're playing 35 minutes worth of battle royale game, and then you drop, and it's like, well, there's just wasted all that time.
Yeah.
And disadvantaged my team. So hopefully they can sort out those problems. But otherwise, apart from the odd, like, the servers aren't working all of a sudden for whatever reason, and it being like weird timing as well, like not during peak hour,
Yeah.
like 8 o'clock at night in Australia, which is very early in the US, or super early in the US, and pretty much not early at all or late afternoon or something in Europe. Like not a peak time for us. Servers not working that way, or just like random things where it won't connect to the servers every once in a while. But otherwise, it's been a pretty smooth launch. Otherwise, other than like the crashes that people are having.
Except for a couple of crashes. Yeah, it's been a surprisingly good surprise launch for something that is as popular as it is, which is good.
Yep.
I think it's amazing. If you haven't played it, I highly recommend it. Like, you should get in right now, immediately, because it's fucking awesome. It's a lot of fun, and it's free.
What are your feelings on them adding duos and solos?
Not fussed. I don't mind playing triples.
Yeah, I think it's fine the way it is, personally.
Yep. I think
Maybe solos, but does it need duos?
No, I don't think so. I'd rather see quads or six player teams before I saw duos. To be honest,
6-player teams.
I reckon it'd be interesting. But like, 3 is a weird number for a team comp.
I think it's smaller. It's smaller player base, right? It's 60 instead of 100.
Yeah, no, I get it, but it's still weird. Like you're still running into. It's mostly for team composition. We've got more than fucking 3 people who want to play games together. Some person has to ditch out and play on their own or something.
Oh yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, that was a lot. We talked about Apex a lot, but yeah,
Yes.
a surprise game that obviously we haven't previewed because
Yeah.
it's only just come out. So there's a lot there, and a game that's good. Hopefully, it does well for them. I think it'll do pretty well. I have a feeling.
I think it's already doing very well. So yeah, I think it's going to continue to smash. Yeah, I like it's got everything going for it. It's so easy to get into a game. There's no like bullshit or anything like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Blackout's the one that's in trouble the most. It's
Yeah.
the most similar style of gameplay.
Yep.
I don't think, like, in terms of the running speed, it's not as quick. It's slightly a little bit slower, but it makes up for it in traversal.
Yep.
And the sliding and whatnot.
Yeah.
The gunplay is extremely similar to that. Same sort of gunplay. Like, the looting system is very similar. Like, it's not like PUBG.
Yeah.
It's not like Fortnite. So I think Blackout's the one that's sort of in trouble here. That's going to eat the most of it. I definitely think that you're going to have parts of that community from PUBG and Fortnite that are going to be taken away, but the most part of it is going to be Blackout, I think, because they're that much similar.
Yep. All right.
Now, moving on. What else we got? I might just talk about Kingdom Hearts 3 quickly.
Do it.
Because, like I spoke about last week, I've played a little bit more of it. The only thing I really want to say about it, and this is the game where you play as a A character named Sora teams up with a bunch of Disney characters, Disney and Pixar characters, and you visit their worlds and whatnot. And there's a weird story going on, which it does a really bad job of sort of explaining what is going on. So I played about another 10 hours of this, and my partner was watching me play this the other night, and she started going through like the IMDb list of like the characters in the game.
Yeah.
And was like asking me questions about if I've run into certain, like trying to drop me hints about if I'd run into certain characters. I was getting a bit annoyed because I think the whole, I talked about this last week, but I think the whole like the
Discovery.
Magical like the whimsy of the game is interacting with all these characters and discovering them and hanging out with them and whatnot. And she said at one place, like she said something which didn't give away like the name of the Disney property it was, but it was, in my own words, I replied to her and said, well, we should have just asked me if you'd spent any time under the sea yet. And I would like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, what are you doing? Stop doing this to me.
Spoilers, Luke. Now I know.
Yeah.
I know you visit SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah. So I was, yeah. So like, I'm getting upset. Like, I'm not angry. I'm just like messing around with her, but being like, oh, what are you doing? Like the whole thing of it. And so there's an aspect of the game where I talked about it. You've got this like spaceship mini game where you fly around, and that's like your world map where you go to these places.
Yeah.
And the world map is like planets, but the planets look like these Disney properties. So you can look at them and be like, I think I know where I'm going next. That type of thing, or I know where I'm going 3 levels from now, because they're all sort of based off of your character's ranking at that time. Like, this is a level 27 planet, and you probably want to be 27 when you get there.
Yep.
So there's definitely a path that you need to go, and I think that is a misstep. I think it should have been hidden from you. Maybe like you don't know what that planet is until you get to go there, and you know, you're high enough level and whatnot. I wish that it was
some
hidden.
sort of fog of war or something.
Yeah, and you couldn't see where you're going. Like, I want there to be a surprise when I get there and it pops up, and all of a sudden I'm hanging out with these, you know, like the first level is Hercules, his planet. Very like, I know people are not going to get excited about Hercules, but it goes some places in this game. But that sort of moment where, like, holy shit, I'm hanging out with these people now. Wish it did that, as opposed to me looking at the planet and being like, oh, okay, go on here. Because there was a moment when I was playing last night, and it was part of the story point where I went back to an area that I'd already been to, and I was interacting with a bunch of characters, and then it was like the next part of the story took me off to a place where it just took me there. And then that was a genuine surprise to me, because I'm like, now I'm hanging out with these people and I'm doing all these things, but I didn't know that was coming until all of a sudden they're on the screen.
Yeah.
And I'm at this place, and that is where it's really cool, as opposed to me showing up to a place and expecting to know where it's going, because I can tell from the look and the design of the planet that I'm flying over to.
Yeah.
So that would be one of the aspects that I would change. I don't know if it changes it later on.
Right.
But at the 7 or 8 places that I've been to at the moment, it's definitely a recurring theme of, you can tell what's happening next for most of the time, which sucks. But otherwise, yeah, I'm still digging it, having a lot of fun playing that game, and I think it looks awesome. It's very pretty.
Cool.
What else can we go about here? Do you want to talk about
Subnautica Below Zero? Let's go real quick.
Yep.
I played about an hour of it so far, and it's quite a different start compared to the original Subnautica. You're a different character. It's definitely establishing that you're on a different world. Things are a bit different, but largely, like, if you know Subnautica, you have a decent idea of the basics of what you need to do. I'm probably not going to continue playing it right now, because I felt like it's a bit too early access, and so I feel like all I'm doing right now is spoiling shit for myself for when I want to play it, and it's a bit more finished. There's a lot of placeholder shit, like fish text, like descriptions of fish is placeholder, and some of the breadcrumbing is not as good as it could be. Like, I got lost for a little while and I made a bunch of these fucking oxygen tubes, and that wasn't fantastic. That wasn't ideal.
Right.
But yeah, so
you're still underwater.
yeah, you're still largely underwater. I haven't been out of the water yet. Like, you start out of the water, but that's about it. You're in the water pretty quick. Yeah, it feels like more Subnautica, which is awesome. There's definitely some new scary things, some new freakouts. I had a pretty good one, but yeah, like, it's good. It's good fun.
So Subnautica was like this survival game where you had to go out and gather materials and whatnot. Does it feel like they've changed that much at all, or is it pretty standard? Like,
it's the same.
You get 10 of these things, and that builds you this thing, and then that sort of escalates. Right.
It's the same in that like sort of instance. Still trying to work out, how did you save oxygen after you got past a certain depth? So I can't remember for the fucking life of me.
You would get bigger, like, oxygen tanks.
Yeah, I got
you would get, like, refillable tanks that you could fill while you were down there. You'd get vehicles that you could go in and resupply by going back into them.
Yeah. I don't have any of that shit yet, but I need to go down to 200 meters, and I have no idea. Anyway, I'm probably not going to continue anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'll have to start over. It's good. It's good fun. Like, it is. It's just more Subnautica, but I love Subnautica. So yeah, if you're about it, I'd check it out. But I would wait regardless. It is early access, and yeah, there's shitloads of placeholder stuff. Yeah, that's about it. All right, what else we got?
I closed my sheets because I was bringing up something.
Let's do
else.
Anthem.
Do you want to do Anthem or Division?
Let's do Anthem first.
Okay.
Because all I got to talk about is the end game stuff. So Anthem had another demo over the weekend. I believe it was different to the VIP demo.
What was it?
I believe so.
Oh, fair enough. I didn't realize this. I didn't play it at all.
Could you do free play stuff in the VIP demo?
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't it. I don't think it was different. I don't know. It was very different from what I played in Tokyo. Still, so it's still an older build compared to what I played in Tokyo. Yeah. What I want to talk about was, I mentioned it earlier, the really fascinating thing about what Anthem does well is the primer and detonator experience as a function of building teams, like as a function of creating proper teamwork where you need to like full blown pull shit off at the perfect time to nail some stuff. I did like hard strongholds with people on the weekend. It was good. It was hard.
How'd you go with the swimming?
It was still annoying, but you could tell, like, even then, I did the one that you were talking about, the big spider one.
Yeah.
Big scorpion, whatever the fuck. That door that you said didn't open.
Yeah.
Like, I did that stronghold multiple times, and it was open so fucking quick. No, it was like opening when we got to it.
Right.
Not like yeah. That was endgame when I played it in Tokyo. I couldn't mention, but the exact same fucking thing happened to me. We had 3 people at the door, and I had to call someone from BioWare over. I'm like, how the fuck do we open this door, man? I am lost. And it's like, oh, you need all 4 of you. I'm like, cool. 4th person, let's go.
Nah, that's not true though, because I've been there before where it's just been open. You don't need anyone there. I know that for a fact. Like,
well, they might have changed it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it was opening real quick on the weekend. I mean, yeah. So there was that. The other one we did a different stronghold. One of the other strongholds. There were 2. Like, there's 3 strongholds. One of them's, I think, permanently embargoed. We're just not allowed to talk about it. But the other one, because it's spoiler heavy, it's like the end of the game. The other one, yeah, we did that as well. I think they need to randomize a lot of the stuff in it, or it's going to get real samey real quick.
Sure.
They need to randomize like where those echoes of light are, and they need to randomize the sorts of enemies that pop up. Because as it is, I have definitely noticed that I already know where a bunch of shit is. I know that the big turret's going to be there. The big elites are going to spawn in at this point, etc., etc. And yeah, I don't think I think it's good so that you can know how to deal with certain stuff, but it's bad from a replayability perspective, and they need replayability for a loot shooter. What I want to talk about, primer, detonator. It's so fucking good when you get it working correctly, and I just feel like they're not talking about this enough. Like, they're not talking about how great the primer detonator system is, because when you pull off a perfect detonation, you can like full blown save a run. And when you're doing it like while you're just generally rolling around, like it's fucking massive. Like you feel like a fucking superhero. Like one of you freezes some shit, the other one bombs it, and everything fucking explodes. That's the power fantasy that you're building towards in a loot shooter in general. That's what like the whole thing is about. That's what Destiny doesn't do. That's what fucking the Division doesn't do, I assume. Like, you aren't like setting this shit up only to dunk it like in spectacular fashion. There's none of that fucking perfect assist shit. And if like Anthem does it better than any other game I've ever seen. It reminds me a lot of, obviously, the only MOBA I ever played was Heroes of the Storm. But watching pro-level Dota players set up ganks, that's what it reminds me of. This primer detonator system reminds me of pro Dota players setting up the perfect gank. Except in Anthem, it's super easy to put together every single fucking time, provided you know what you're doing and you have good communication. Like, obviously, you need that in Dota. But there's all kinds of other things you need to do to set up that perfect thing in Dota. Whereas in Anthem, it's literally just find an enemy that you want to tee off on and make sure they don't have shields before you prime them. Prime them, get the, like, either you detonate them yourself or you get your detonator-specific person to detonate them, and then Bob's your uncle. It's fucking over for however many people are around them. And there's like this massive like spread of death basically all around them. It boggles my mind that they're not talking about this all the time, because it is a huge differentiator, and it's the sort of thing that, like, because I was playing with randoms, right? Like at the Tokyo event, I was playing with like I knew Shannon from Press Start, but I don't really know the others, and it was hard, you know, to sort of, like, once we got into the endgame stuff, it was hard to sort of coordinate that shit until we, like, I really broke down the basics of the system, and then it was literally just me, like, yelling, "He's primed," and then someone would come in and detonate him. And that was, like, we were only playing on hard. I would say about a 100% times harder, harder time. Fucking said time too many times. It was 100% more difficult playing on the weekend in the like demo with like people, because nobody had primers, nobody had detonators. We just had whatever random loot. When we were playing the end game content, we had with the Matrix fucking guns scene of shit that we could pick from, right? Like, we're just able to, whatever the fuck we wanted, we were able to have it. And so we could have we could have someone with just primers, have someone with just detonators, like one of each, or whatever the fuck. We had the whole fucking lot available to us. And so, like, we went into one of the harder one, so the stronghold that you don't see. When we went in, I was a Colossus. I was there to tank damage. I was like soaking up damage and holding threat. Then we had one of the dudes priming, and the other two dudes were alternating detonating, depending on whether or not it was single target. So when the enemy Colossus show up, then the single target detonator would do it, and they die instantly. or if it was AoE that we needed. And the AoE dude, the fucking Storm would do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd spread out to everyone and fucking dead. Bingo bango. And we were just fucking pounding through this shit. We had literally only played a single other stronghold together. At the end of it, I'm like, guys, we need... Like, we did the Scorpion one. Like, we still had an easier time of that because we had all the options in the world, but also because I was playing Storm and I had Primer on one hand, Detonator on the other, and I was just doing the shit myself, right? I was just like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. We'll get through this. At the end, I explained the Primer Detonator thing. We set up our characters properly. We had a proper team composition. And the next one, we're fucking shredding. I believe it's a harder stronghold, like more complex. But we still fucking pounded through it. It was epic. It felt fucking awesome. This was a group of randoms. This was a group of dudes, like, I hadn't really played that many games with before, or at all, and we were fucking pounding through it like gods. We walked out of there, everyone walked out of there, and they're like, yeah, once we understood the Primer Detonator thing, hard is too easy. Hard is where normal should be. But playing it on the weekend with a bunch of, like, without the same options, without the same, like, arsenal of weapons, and without people who knew how that stuff works, I understand why normal is where it is. I mean, we didn't fail any of the hard games we played, but I understand why, like, hard is rated as hard, because it would be hard if you didn't really know how to play the game properly.
Yeah, and that could be just because the demo puts you in at a spot where there's no tutorial.
It doesn't explain any of this shit to you. Like, I spent half the fucking time on the weekend saying, yeah, they explained that. This is how it's done. Yeah, they explained that. This is how it's done. Oh, yeah, that gets explained in the tutorial. This is how it's done. Like, yeah, they just did a terrible job of fucking breadcrumbing you in that situation. Yeah. I honestly think the Primer Detonator stuff is, like, we're going to see it in other games. I think Anthem might be DOA. I worry that it will be. I mean, it's coming out. It's such a fucking busy time for it to come out.
Is it next week? I think it's 15th, right? Early access.
Yeah. It's coming out in the middle of a bunch of shit. Not to mention, like, I thought this before Apex Legends dropped, but now that Apex Legends is out, like, such a cluttered time that I just don't. I don't think it had a good reception during its demos. I think it was marred by. I think we go back to, you know, the whole EA can't get out of it in front of its own marketing. They haven't described what it does really well enough for people to necessarily care. I see a bunch of Destiny streamers talking about how it's identical to Destiny, but it's third person, which is categorically untrue. But you can't explain that. I can't explain that to them. They don't give a fuck what I say. They're Destiny streamers. Like, if they gave a fuck what I said, they wouldn't be Destiny streamers. So, like, yeah, like, you're just not going to convince anyone. But we are going to see the Primer Detonator system come back, because it is fucking awesome. Like, you full-blown just wipe shit out. It is some straight-up gangster anime shit. Like, just... you're way too powerful for a certain situation, and so instead of just killing things, you overkill fucking everything. Everything is just blasted with ice and then disintegrates and shit. And you're like, fuck yeah.
Right. So the strongholds are the end game content.
Yeah, for now, yeah.
Right. Cool.
I was saying this on Twitter. There is not a single game, like loot chaser game, that has released with its end game intact on launch since before Wrath of the Lich King. Like, there was no fucking raid in Destiny 1 on launch, or 2, or Division, or any expansion after Wrath of the Lich King. I think Wrath of the Lich King as well. I can't remember exactly when Nax dropped, but I'm pretty sure it was like a week or two after Wrath launch. Like, and Nax was a remake of an old fucking dungeon, old raid, so it's not like it's. I don't know if you count it anyway, but yeah, like you have not seen a raid launch at launch of any game in fucking forever. It's just not how they do it. So I don't think it's a problem. I don't think it's a problem for Anthem that, yeah, they haven't launched. They're not launching with the raid, but it does need to come within fucking a month. If it's not there inside of 2 weeks, it might be too late. If they have a really complex, interesting raid, then I think people will be about it. I think you level up real quick in Anthem. I could actually if I'm wrong and Anthem isn't DOA, and I hope I am, because I do think it's awesome. Yeah, I will play it.
So they've got raids, right?
Well, they've got cataclysms, which are these massive, world-changing endgame event type things.
Yeah.
But they're not. I don't think they're in the game at launch, and I believe they're deployable without a patch. I think that's the brilliant part about them. They've got storms and cataclysms, and I believe cataclysms are giant storms. But yeah, like shaper storms, not the character storms. That's another problem. I don't know. I went to Tokyo. I still don't have a really fucking good idea how this shit all works. I flew me to Japan, and I'm not 100% on this shit. And I paid a lot of attention. Yeah, I don't know. They've goofed a little, I think. Just marketing this game, just selling this game. Yeah. I can understand why you might walk away from it thinking, oh, yeah, it's just whatever. It's just Destiny.
I still don't know what it really is in terms of the story or what's going on. I just feel like they've done not a good job. The way they're selling it to everybody seems to be it's BioWare's next game.
Yeah.
And that's kind of all they're really saying is that sort of stuff. That's okay, fair enough. Yeah, but BioWare's last game was a heap of shit.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do now?
It's true. But yeah. Anyway, it'll be interesting. Premiere, I'll be in it next week. I'll be checking it out for sure. But
you're not gonna wait
for what?
For us to jump in with you?
You're not gonna jump in. You fucking hate it. What's the point?
I don't hate it. I liked it.
That is a fucking lie. You spent all of last week
it. There's just bits I don't like.
Just bits I don't like most of it. But I liked, the graphics. And
they were a bit slow, actually.
Oh, here we go. Anyway, tell us about The Division. While we're talking about loot shooters.
Yeah, The Division. I mean, it's funny you bring up endgame content. I liked The Division 1 quite a lot. I liked a lot of the shooting. I think it looked extremely pretty. I thought it played really well on PC. We had a really good time playing as a crew, a co-op game.
Yep.
Even though you weren't around.
Yep.
I can't remember where you were. Maybe doing a preview or review trip.
I was on a review trip. I can't remember.
Something like that. Yep. So The Division is a RPG, loot-based third-person shooter. The original game was set in New York, where a virus breaks out during Black Friday, and it spreads via money. And there's this team that gets put together and sort of needs to keep things under control. People start looting, gangs start forming and whatnot, and New York sort of turns to shit. The problem with The Division was that I really liked the content they had in there, but once you sort of finished that game and you got to the level cap, which I believe was 30,
yeah,
there really wasn't a lot to do. They had an interesting multiplayer zone, which was an area that was split up, and you'd go in there and you'd PvP or PvE versus other enemies or other players, or real world players, and you'd go and find high tier loot. You would sort of do missions in there and whatnot, but pretty basic stuff. And that was really all they had in the game, apart from replaying existing missions on harder difficulties to get more loot.
Yeah.
So kind of, we played it for maybe a week or two. I enjoyed what I played, but then it was kind of, right, now what do we do?
By the time I got back, and
yeah,
by the time I'd managed to solo my way from level 1 to 30, because nobody would play with me, you guys were tired of it. So
we were done. But yeah, I mean, we played a lot of the beta, the beta
Yeah.
that was happening. We spent a lot of time at Dark Zone, like really good moments in there. Stuff that we hadn't really seen video games sort of pull off before.
Yeah.
Like, I guess we were kind of thinking at one stage it was going to be sort of an open world where people would just drop in and drop out.
Yeah.
That's not really what happened.
Yeah.
But it was still fun playing that sort of multiplayer stuff. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I think they definitely took a lot of that feedback on board. They released a bunch of content over the next 3 years, and a lot of that was endgame content and rebalancing the main content, like improving the looting and the leveling up and that sort of stuff. And we revisited it, was it like October last year?
Maybe.
Actually, I've got the notes here.
Okay.
It was basically when they announced Division 2.
Right. So that must have been earlier than October.
Oh yeah, sorry, because I'm thinking the wrong year. It would have been before E3, so March. Something like that. Yeah. And so we jumped back in. At this stage, they had like a bunch of new endgame content. They, as I said, they'd reworked the leveling system and whatnot, and it felt like a more fleshed out endgame. The stuff that I really liked, which they put in one of the last patches, was this. I think it was called Resistance, and basically horde mode, where you would get into an area, you'd get these points, and then you'd use those points to unlock doors, and it could be crates to get more weapons, it could be like a door to open a new area in this map. And it was a really interesting take on horde mode. As opposed to all these enemies coming at you, you were opening up different areas to go and explore. Thought that was really unique and really well done. Apart from that, they had some PvP missions in there, stuff like the Last Stand, some more PvE versus P stuff. So they really paid a lot of attention to endgame content over those 3 years, and I think they got to a really good place. So for the past couple of months now, they've been really pushing preview sessions for the Division 2 a lot. I know for Survivor, we've been to, I think this is our 4th preview in the last 6 months maybe. So there's been a lot going on in terms of content, and they're trying to make it known that we've listened to the community and there's going to be endgame content on launch. And so I'll start from sort of what I know about it. We had a bunch of developers flown out from one of their studios, and they were showing us some they took us through a slideshow presentation. Basically had a list of the patch updates for the last 3 years on the Division and all the major features that they've added in terms of content. The stuff I talked about just then, like the Resistance stuff, the Last Stand content, incursions, and like this features list of like, here's all the stuff we added for Endgame up until 1.8, which was the last patch for that was August last year. And then they said all of that stuff is going to be in Division 2 from launch.
That's good.
And then they clicked the next slide and they said, plus here's the other stuff we're adding as well. And it was like another list of things they've got. So they've listened, they've got it there, and they're ready to have this thing be endgame ready, which I'm excited about because that was the biggest fault, I feel like, with Division 2. So what the stuff that I saw was a very small snippet of the endgame content. There's things we still don't know about, which is like 8-player raids they haven't shown off yet. Hamish at Survivor went to one of the studios in December to go and play the new Dark Zone content.
Yeah, I read it after I read your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that sounds interesting. They've got like a different rogue system in there. Seems like they're sort of playing off old school not Hitman, Kanan Lynch sort of vibes.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Should be pretty interesting. Amusing.
Yeah, man. Like the whole idea of being able to sort of backstab your squad and like different tiers of going like wanted. Like we've talked about wanted systems a lot the last couple of weeks and how we would sort of approach wanted systems. They're doing something similar but having like different scales of it.
Yeah.
So that could be cool to kind of see how that plays out. But anyway, so I go back to the start. this game, the Division 2, is set in Washington, D.C. It's about 7 months after the events of the Division. Completely different style. New York was very cold, set in the winter, like a snowy backdrop. This is in the middle of summer. It's in July. It's hot. Different color palette. It's lots of greens and bright colors. The Division 1 was... They had this like yellow thing they were going for, like a lot of yellow in the game. Yellow trash bags, yellow spray paint, yellow canisters around. This one seems like they've shifted to green.
Okay.
You've got trees and leaves. You've got grass like growing out of the sidewalk and up out of cracks, and plants like strangling taxis, and green sort of spray paint on walls, and green like sort of puddles and things like that. So they're trying to make it feel like a different area, and I think they've done that quite well. And you're basically playing as this Division team again. You start off and you have pretty crappy weapons, and as you progress through the game, it's a loot chasing game, so you get different tiered types of weapons, better gear, you're upgrading skills, you're getting new gadgets, you're upgrading your settlements to get new missions and whatnot, and it's, you know, that loot chasing type of vibe that we're used to in these types of games. The stuff that we saw was is going to be available in a private beta, which starts in about 4 hours from recording this. So tonight it goes up until the weekend. People that pre-ordered the game will get a chance to play it, and people that signed up to the beta and were lucky enough to get picked will also get a chance to check it out. I assume they're going to do an open beta at some stage. I'm not 100% sure if that's happening. Do you know? You read anything?
I don't think they are. I didn't see anything that they were. I was pretty sure that this was it, but that's why they were doing it, so that you could invite all your friends, so they could get as many people. Like, they were making it so that it was very spread out without being an open beta.
Maybe we'll see how it goes, and then maybe 2 weeks before launch, hey, it's an open beta, people can jump in and see. Because the first game was very popular. I think it was the highest selling new IP in their history, so I think it'll do well.
Yep.
But yeah, so we started off this game. Yeah.
There was an ice cream. Did you hear the ice cream?
I can hear it now once we stop talking.
Fuck yeah.
Is that yours or me?
It's yours.
That's me.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Right.
It is quite hot. I think that's the first time I've heard him around here.
What a prick.
Yeah. So anyway, we jumped in and we were playing. I was playing solo to begin with. I was playing our Xbox One X.
Yeah.
And the mission we were on was a theater, and sort of ran through it. Pretty standard Division stuff, like shooting a bunch of dudes, getting loot, going through areas and whatnot, completing certain tasks, clearing rooms and whatnot. And then they eventually jumped us into the co-op while they were preparing everybody to get ready. So we jumped in, restarted that mission, and it's that thing where you talked about like team compositions, and you've got like your medic guy, and I had a turret, which I really liked from the first game. You'd throw the turret out and it'd shoot people. You've got like abilities. My guy had a like a rolling grenade. You would mark it on the map, or like your HUD. Like you'd look around, you'd hit the bumper to pull it out, and then you hit the bumper to like, all right, this is where I want the ball to go, and it'd come up in like a radius on the screen, sort of showing where it would go. And he'd like roll it across the ground, and it'd like drone out and start like going to that area. Right. And then once it got to its position, it like blows up and jumps in the air and explodes. And there's different like loadouts to that actual grenade. You can set up sort of how it works and whatnot. And there wasn't like a lot of options in terms of the skills you could pick, because a lot of them were locked for this beta or this demo. But you can kind of see the different things you could pick out and like what sort of tree you want to go down. So similar to the first game, where you could have like your damage guy, or you know, your tanky person, and your medics. Like you go the medic guy, throw out the green thing that'd heal people.
Yeah.
So they're still trying to play that like having team compositions and setting up for the right sort of when some of the harder missions come along. So the stuff we played though was pretty basic. It was just normal standard mission stuff, nothing too hard. We had a lot of, you know, fun sort of just running around and just shooting dudes and whatnot. The missions that we were playing, as I said, nothing really out of the ordinary that we haven't seen elsewhere in the last game. You know, we got to a point in one of the climax of this actual mission, and it was a bunch of guys coming through elevators and doors and like having to hold defend this area for a little while, and Nate ran up and got onto a high ground place and didn't realize the guys that's where they were sort of spawning in, per se,
right.
like walking through doors. And I'm like, what do you like? He went down, and it was like, well, I think he's dead because he got up there by like climbing a wall and whatnot. And eventually we all end up going down, but we replayed it. And I'm like, Nate, don't fucking go stand where they're spawning in. He's like, oh, I didn't realize. So we did that. That was a lot of fun, and I'll talk about some of the combat changes they've made. The first game had a lot of issues with bullet sponginess. Like, you were just shooting people, and you're like, why is this person not dying? Like, they're running around. It's just a regular looking person with a, I think I wrote in my preview, with like a tank top on or something like that, like a t-shirt, and you're just laying into these guys and they're just, nothing's happening. Like, they're just slowly losing health. Yep. They've taken that feedback, they've changed it. The game is still bullet spongy, but there is they've toned it down a little bit, but there's still like some reasoning to that. Now the enemies are tiered up into armor. So like the higher level guys that are going to take a lot of damage have armor pieces on them, or they'll have weak points where you've got to really target these specific parts of their body to shred their armor away. And so eventually, once you shred that armor away, that's when you start doing like proper damage. Like, you'll do a couple of headshots and they're dead, or you know, a couple of body shots and they'll die pretty much straight away. So the guys that won't take much damage are running around just in normal regular clothes, and as you get to the heart of the really end game stuff, there's these tanky looking fucking motherfuckers that are just walking around who look massive, and you can, you know, they're holding like mini guns, and that's when you can start really shredding away their pieces of armor and starting to like expose their body. So you really want to focus on things like their helmet or their weak points to sort of slow them down a lot. So yes, it is still bullet spongy. They've toned it down a bit, but there's purpose into doing that. Like, you've got to aim for the weak points. You've got to shred certain points of their body to get them low. But once you get rid of that armor, and you can see it ticking down, then you can start doing some damage. That's sort of their answer to doing that.
Like, why? This is what I don't get, right? This is what I don't get in Destiny. This is what I don't get in fucking The Division. This, like, the sponge thing, right? I get why you've got sponginess, right? So that there are meaningful, incremental changes to stats.
Yeah. But
it seems like in none of these games do you ever reach a point where you're fucking just John Wicking motherfuckers. You're just like rolling in and fucking boom, boom, boom. I'm level 30. I'm in all fucking legendary gear. I should be fucking legendary. But you never feel legendary. That's what loot shooters are like. That's what loot chases are supposed to be about. That's the beauty of like fucking Diablo, right? Is you get your fucking full wizard fucking cloak and robes and whatever the fuck, and you're like, yeah, cool. You're dead. And all 50 of your ancestors, I brought them back to life, and then I electrocuted them to death again, just by looking at you. I'm fucking unlimited powering my way through a fucking, like, area, right? Like, there's fucking, I am the Senate, and it doesn't matter what you have to do. I'm in fucking the best gear in the fucking game, and you can't possibly hope to stop me anymore. Like, I am... essentially, I'm not a god, but as far as you're concerned, I might as well be, right? That never happens in these loot shooters. That's why I liked Anthem. Like, that's what I liked about in Anthem, was that feeling of actual monumental change in power. Like, that fucking huge shift and the ability to wreak havoc on your foes. And I never see it in Destiny. And I didn't see it in Division 1. And it doesn't sound like I'm going to see it in the Division 2, right? Like, what's
but like
the
Anthem
purpose?
still has that bullet sponge. You've got guys with shields or just shooting them regularly. They still take damage.
If you once you get into the end game gear, right, and suddenly you're able to put together your proper. That's what I've been talking about. The proper fucking primer detonator combo. You are as powerful as any Diablo character. You are stomping and clomping and fucking shit up. If you're in all in-game gear in a Colossus, right, you bring out your fucking shield and you charge motherfuckers, you'll pound through them like nothing else, right? Like, it doesn't fucking matter. The only challenge for Anthem is that everything is sort of scaled to every person's individual level, regardless the amount of damage they output. So that is a relative challenge from that perspective, but they get around it using the primary detonator system. I don't understand how come you never get to feel like you can just fucking smash shit?
Well, maybe you can. Maybe they just throw cannon fodder at you. Because Diablo does that thing, right? Where it throws out generally like crappy enemies, and then every once in a while there's like a blue or a purple that's in between that's maybe buffing everybody else or doing that sort of thing. Maybe there are levels where it just throws random like 40, 50 dudes at you and they just crap and you just smash them all.
Like, can you just smash cunts who aren't wearing a bunch of armor?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You just destroy them in like a couple of hits.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we were playing on console. Don't play a lot of console shooters. The aim assist was, pretty standard. I was whiffing a lot of shots. I'll put a bunch of this. I'll try and put a bunch of video up on our YouTube page.
Yeah.
I got it like 5 hours of video, but I'm obviously not going to put 5 hours up. But I'll put some stuff up there so you can sort of watch what was going on. But yeah, I mean, there was definitely points where you could see you just start off and you can easily kill dudes, and then their point of it was showing us, right, here's what the early game stuff looks like, where you can sort of just hit a couple of guys, and here's the late game where you're playing like really hard end game content, which is like replaying certain missions with different factions and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then here's the different factions and kind of how their loadouts work and the tactics that they use and what's going on.
Right.
So I'll talk about that a little bit. One of the modes we played was called Invaded Missions, and it was like an end-game mission where it sort of ramps up the difficulty, and there are factions in the game, and this faction is called the Black Tusks, and they're the dudes that have like all these giant armor on them, and they have these robots with them. They look like Johnny Five, but they had like dual like miniguns on them, or
evil
like,
25.
Yeah, like Terminator Judgment Day looking robots that would just destroy you, and they're like an exclusive faction to these specific types of missions, and they were giving us a hard time. Like, and speaking of John Wick looking stuff, like the mission they showed us, I was like, oh, this looks like we're in John Wick. Like they had these cubes set up in this hallway, and there was like colored lights going off, and I'm like, I feel like I'm in a John Wick movie. And then we just started getting destroyed by these dudes. And so I'm guessing there is going to be some challenge there. Again, we were playing with gear that we weren't familiar with. We were playing on a console that I think all three of us are generally PC people. But yeah, and like just not being used to here's end game content 30 hours in and you're getting it straight away. So it's hard to say whether or not it's going to be actually really hard, but we were having a tough time with it. It took us about an hour to finish that mission, I think.
Right.
So it's quite lengthy stuff. The way gear works, if you remember, was I think it was stamina, firearms, and what was the last one? Like health.
Yeah, I think it was health.
Yeah. So the three sort of attributes: electronic, stamina, firearms, electronic stats.
Right.
And that would sort of give you damage numbers, like, hey, you're doing this much damage for this weapon, like DPS. They've completely gotten rid of DPS in the game, and it's something we talked about last week with DPS numbers. It's gone. There is no this is how much damage you're doing per second.
You hate that.
Yeah, I know. But so their reasoning is that the people were looking at it by comparing sniper rifles to shotguns or like.
Did I literally say this?
Yeah, but I like it in terms of comparing assault rifles with the same sort of stuff. So yeah, they've completely, and they were having a hard time trying to balance it. They were talking about. So I'm
too beautiful for this world. Fucking hell.
You're crazy.
I'm too smart. I'm
so
many steps ahead. It's ridiculous.
What they've got this time around is the gear you pick up sort of affects things like attributes like headshot damage, or affects your skill powers like recharge abilities, or the amount of damage that it does, and so that's where it's sort of pulling all those numbers from this time. And the changes that I really like in there that they've really focused on is sort of giving players more feedback as to how some of these weapons work. And the first thing I noticed was they've got a damage drop-off meter in the game. And I showed Nate straight away, like, holy shit, have you seen this? Because that's one of my complaints about Battlefield, is they've gotten rid of that meter in Battlefield 5. It used to be in there in 1. Like, you'd look at a gun and be like, what is the optimal range I should be using this weapon at? What are its high points in terms of damage numbers? What's its low points? Where does it sort of drop off in terms of range? And just looking at that and getting an idea of where that weapon should be used at. And that is in the game now, and it compares it like between weapons. Like,
do you do that much long range? Do you have that many long range engagements?
Yeah, there's sniper rifles, and it compares shotguns and assault rifles, pistols. So,
right, yeah.
Like, you can compare SMGs between each other, and some of them will have different damage drop-offs or whatnot. So that's a really cool.
How do you distinguish between fucking 23 meters of damage drop-off and 25 meters? What the fuck is the point of that distinction? Like, why would that matter? The only reason damage drop-off mattered in Battlefield was because it had sweet spots for the sniper rifles. Like, yeah. Outside of that, I don't see the point. Like,
well, it's just giving more information to the players to understand how some of these weapons.
While they're robbing you of it in your DPS meters, aren't people just going to work out DPS meters anyway?
Well, if the loot is randomly generated, then there might be calculators and whatnot. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. What else is there? Trying to think what else they showed us.
Did they like give you a bunch of like really good gear and let you just go to town?
Yeah. So when you hit level 30,
yeah.
You pick a specialist,
yeah.
And there are 3 specialists: a demolitionist, a survivor, and a sharpshooter. And each one has a special signature weapon. And demolitionist has a grenade launcher. The sharpshooter has a sniper rifle. And the survivor has a crossbow with explosive tipped rounds.
Right.
And you obtain special ammo for the gun while you're playing these missions, and that's how you can use those weapons. They're separate to your normal primary, secondary weapons of the game. So there's sort of like a special weapon that you bring out once you get this ammo, and then it's like, alright, I can use this now. So that's kind of like where they're going in terms of diversifying that bit, the endgame content. They showed us a bit of that. I was using grenade launchers and just grenading dudes all the time. That was a lot of fun. I think Nate was using a sniper rifle.
Right.
I don't know why. I told him, you should use a sniper rifle. That'll be fun.
Got him.
On a console shooter.
Got him.
No, got him good. And I think because he asked what we were all going.
Okay.
And I was already like, I'm picking the grenade dude. Yep. Sorry.
So you snaked it.
I snaked it. Yeah. So yeah, that, like, they're trying to do that sort of stuff, which is good. But we basically, during our free time, we just did some running around, and there were like control points that we needed to take, like random events. A bunch of dudes showed up, and you had to wipe them all out and control a certain sector. You're still looking for echoes to sort of progress the story, or like fill in the story of what's going on around the world. These like 3D recorded messages that show up. There are materials you go out and collect like the other game, and you upgrade your settlements to get more high gear and whatnot. So they're taking a lot of elements from the first game and bringing them back and sort of putting a a new twist on them. But yeah, like it feels really good. I had a lot of fun playing it. I'm excited to see what else there is in the end game content, because like I said, there's a lot there.
Yeah.
Things with the the incursions and all the PvP stuff. The Dark Zone content has been split up into different areas now. It's not just like a block in the middle of the screen. There's different locations you can go to.
Right.
There are 8-player raids that they haven't talked about yet. I think it was 8.
Are they going to be in at launch?
From what I understand, yeah. Like, it was on the screen when they showed us, here's the endgame content.
Yeah.
Here's what we showed off the other day, PV Dark Zone. Here's what we're showing today. Here's what we've got left. And it's like, all right. I'm curious to see what that is, because the incursions, if you remember, and I don't know if you played it, the incursions were raids, but very basic stuff that wasn't that great. And I think they will have that stuff in there still. These like mini quick raids,
right?
But they're going for something bigger. If they're doing like 8-player raids, then I'm really keen to see what that involves and how deep it actually goes, and how hard it's going to be. But it does seem like they've taken all that feedback and they're really trying to push for a big launch. So it looks good. I'm keen. Me and Nate had a lot of fun running around, clapping at people a lot.
But, yeah, I saw the videos. It gave me the impression that you guys were having fun because you guys are fun. You weren't having fun because the game was fun. You guys are fun.
I mean, we both liked the first Division, so we had fun playing more Division.
I just don't think, like, that doesn't seem quantifiable. I don't know.
Why?
Like, we have talked a lot about how certain games are fun in co-op because games are more fun in co-op.
Right.
When you play with good people, games are easily fun. And, you know, we played more Sea of Thieves than we probably should originally when there wasn't that much content because we were having fun together because we're fun people.
I played a lot of Division by myself when that first came out.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. I didn't know that. I played a lot of that game by myself.
You played most of it.
Almost all of it by myself.
I asked them about the scaling, about the problem that we had where people would jump in and they'd be too low level. And they said, well, they told me they fixed that. The guy that I was talking to said that he had the same experience where he would jump on with friends that were different levels he was, and they'd have a harder time. And they said they've changed the way that scaling works for levels. So
right.
I don't know what that means, but we'll see.
Rightio.
I mean, it looks promising. The end game stuff, they've fleshed it out. Like, that's where the longevity of the game will be. I want to see what the new, like, the Horde stuff looks like. I want to see what this new Dark Zone looks like.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There is a lot there, and if they can nail all that, then yeah, man, I'm gonna have a lot of fun.
Gonna be interesting. Well, the beta starts tonight.
Tonight, yeah, we can jump on.
Where? Yeah, we're gonna jump on. If we've finished podcasting by then, I guess.
Yeah, got a good time.
4 hours. Yeah, it should be interesting at the very least because
So there's 2 missions. I think there's like 5 side missions. You've got the there's PV. I'm pretty sure there's PvP.
There's Dark Zone, right?
Dark Zone, yeah. So I haven't played any of that. Yeah. There's going to be the invaded mission that I played as well. Okay. Yeah, like there wasn't the invaded mission again. Like I said, nothing really new. Just really hard, tough enemies, and I want to see how hard they are on PC.
Yep.
If it makes for a tougher fight, because we had bits where it got a bit close, like people were getting knocked.
Yep.
I had to use a lot of communication to make sure we were in cover and doing the right things. And I still love the cover system in this game. Like it's very Gears of Lawrie where you can hold A behind one piece of cover and run to the next one. I love the way cover and like just combat in general really works in the game. So hopefully they fixed a lot of that stuff and it's not as bullet spongy as the last game. Like I want to sort of play a bit more. It definitely felt like the bits I was playing with the early stuff, they weren't taking a lot of damage.
Yep.
Sorry, they were taking a lot of damage. But then the end game stuff was definitely like, all right, yeah, these guys are taking a lot of hits to get killed. So we'll see how that sort of plays out. But I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to more.
Cool.
That's it.
That's it. That's the games we've been playing.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Apex sort of screwed up this week.
Yeah, in more ways than one. Excellent. Okay, let's talk about some news, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's bust through this quick because I actually have to go do all the work that Apex has been making me not do. So
it's hot.
It is hot. Yes. Okay. Sea of Thieves crossplay will become optional. This is the worst news I've seen. We were getting really back into Sea of Thieves, and this is the dumbest fucking thing I've seen. They're making it so that people who are playing with controllers can only be match made with other people who are playing with controllers.
Yeah.
All right, cool. The game's dead. I think it was cool how Rare did a lot of work to revitalize everyone to play Sea of Thieves again, and then they took it out the back and they shot in the fucking brains.
Right.
This is so fucking idiotic. It doesn't matter. I understand as a PC player that I'm playing with a inherent advantage because it's easier to play on keyboard and mouse than it is on controller. But I know for a fact that Xbox spent a better part of a decade claiming that you could gain no inherent advantage by playing on keyboard and mouse versus controller, even though they would never allow people to test that shit out. It's ridiculous to me. It is utterly ridiculous. All it's going to do is make the seas feel empty, or anytime you feel like the seas are empty, you're just going to blame it on matchmaking. Either the people who only play with other controllers are going to wind up playing alone, or the people who all the Xbox players are going to opt out of playing with PC players, and
right.
That's going to be the fucking garbage. It's going to be shit.
Yeah. So my thoughts on this is that because I think I said this maybe last year. I've been watching a lot of these developer diaries, and I saw this when they announced it. It took them a while for this news story to come out. Because they talked about it like a week or two back.
Yeah.
But my thoughts are they're doing this because of the PvP arena that is coming into the game maybe today. Or maybe not today. When's that big update?
Yeah, isn't it today?
It might be today.
I think it was today because they added. I saw a thing. Someone's already worked out how to do the double shot already.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there's this PvP arena that they're putting in, and they want to separate people that are in console controllers versus PC players. I think it should be made optional only in that mode, that PvP arena mode.
100%.
And secondly, they're adding keyboard and mouse support to console.
Yeah.
So how about they just leave it how it is, and then if you want a better PvP experience, plug in a keyboard and mouse into your console.
Yeah. The option is there. Here are the patch notes. They are out. The Mercenary Voyage of the Rum Runner. New Mercenary Voyage purchasable from the Duke for the low price of 5 doubloons. Challenges pirates to seek out the stash of a notorious rum runner, collecting rewards valuable to all trading companies.
What are they doing, Joab? I'm playing Apex. I want to play Division, and now they put this out. I don't understand how busy.
It's very inconsiderate of them. A new Mercenary Voyage section has been added in the reputation. Yeah, okay. And
so this is like another voyage. So you used to have like merchants and voyages, and the ones with the mystic lady and pirate legends.
Yep. What else I got? Double gun switching. The flintlock, blunderbuss, and eye of reach have new wielding animations to enforce a delay when equipping and switching between these weapons. More fluid sword play. Missing a cutlass swing no longer slows player movement down. Oh, okay. Weird. That's a bit odd, I think. Eye of reach hip fire. Reduced accuracy when hip firing the eye of reach. Okay. Under pressure, you can still get lucky with the hip fired eye of reach shot. So it mustn't be. It was sort of really accurate before, wasn't it?
Yeah, you used to just like scroll wheel, press 2, and then just shoot straight away. They've changed that.
Yep. Weapon knockback, eye of reach and flintlock will no longer apply knockback to enemies hit. The cutlass and blunderbuss still retain that ability.
So you can't shoot them off a boat now.
Yeah, except with the blunderbuss, I guess.
Okay.
Reload improvements. Following the change to the IR reach, now both the Flintlock and blunderbuss reload the moment the hammer is pulled. This allows players to sprint sooner when reloading without restarting the animation. That's good. So I used to piss me off a lot. Game repackaging. Game has now been repackaged to give a smaller install size. Yeah, okay, cool. So it should be like 16 gigs on PC now, and 26 on Xbox, I believe.
Oh, I thought it was the reverse.
No, it's definitely smaller on PC.
Cool.
New player onboarding. Show nameplates above other crews.
Oh yeah, this is for streamers.
Yeah. Key binding for toggle HUD, so you can turn off the HUD. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Ocean crawler cannons. Improve the layout. Okay, made it so that they didn't fuck up the line of sights. You now hear stationary bounty skulls when they're close by. Okay, cool. Kraken has learned to pick on someone her own size and will now
more sloops.
Take it easier on sloops and brigantines.
Good. That's how it should have been.
It's pretty funny. The rumors of the Pale Beast have been circulating heavily, with sightings becoming slightly more frequent. So they're making it easier to find the white shark, the great white shark. Blah, 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 blah. Nothing of any particular imports.
Sounds like some good changes. I was reading they're going to do a big update in March. That's their 1 year anniversary. So it sounds like they're preparing for that.
Yeah, because this doesn't include. There's no mention of arena in here, so.
No, I think that'll be the March update.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and they must be. Yeah, they're preparing for a bunch of stuff. Streamlined hulls. They've got strange cutouts near the bow. So they must be preparing for a bunch of stuff. And a fortress is under construction in the Devil's Roar, in the Devil's Anus.
Why would you go there?
Your favorite place to be. Yeah, okay, cool. Still, splitting up that shit.
Maybe they'll turn around at it.
Extremely dumb. They should.
Yeah, they released some figures. I saw people were saying that that they felt the same thing. Like it'll dilute the PC community, and they released a figure saying like 33% of their player base is on PC.
Right.
Or 32.5 or something like that.
Right.
Fine. We'll see.
Alright, streamer and high-res employee Elvine Lol gets caught in kiddie porn sting. I brought this one up because 2 or 3 years ago I went to the high-res expo and I hung out with this dude. Not just like, oh yeah, I met this guy once and he's caught up in some controversy and isn't that weird? No. Like, he drove me and a couple of other Aussies to go get, like, barbecue at his favourite barbecue place in Atlanta. We all crammed into his tiny car. Right. It's very fucking weird. I saw his face, I'm like, holy fuck, is that dude? Basically, as I said, he got caught in a kiddie porn sting. He knew he was talking to someone who was underage. He admitted to it. As part of this thing, and was talking about how he doesn't like to wear a condom during sex and all this gross shit. It's bananas. Apparently, he hadn't this was his foray into acting on these feelings. So he hasn't hurt anyone yet. But yeah, it's fucking gross. It was extremely upsetting to see someone I had actually hung out with was caught up in this shit. And it's not like I just thought he was a dude who liked anime. Yeah, it's fucked up.
Pretty gross.
That shit's well fucked up. I know Chinglish, the World of Warcraft streamer. I think he was the one. He was our introduction because they were both World of Warcraft streamers for a little while. And obviously Chinglish continued. I know he's been fairly upset about this. I can imagine. Like it feels like a betrayal. And if nobody got hurt, then yeah, it doesn't feel terribly selfish to be like, fuck, how does this impact me? Yeah. Obviously, it doesn't impact me except for the fact that I feel icky about that.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, not cool. He's going to jail. Next up, Metro. If PC players boycott Metro, then the next Metro will definitely not be on PC. Is something that a Metro developer said about people being upset about the move from Steam to the Epic Game Store, and holy shit! Just shut up, man. Just shut up. Just be quiet. Just be quiet. Don't say anything else. Shut up. Fuck. That was like, I can't believe that's the angle you
That's
take.
a response.
Yeah. Whoa, nah.
So people that are upset that they've moved from one platform to another.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. If you want people to bail, it's an interesting way to go about it. Maybe it is. You know, I hate to go back to this well. I know I go to it a lot, but maybe it's some sort of the producers-esque scam where they're deliberately trying to make the worst possible amount of money and that way, you know, Uwe style tax credits.
Yeah.
Because it works for Uwe Boll, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they're going for. Maybe they realized. No, you like this game, and after you were wanking on about it for ages.
What? Me?
Yeah, you said it looked cool. Metro.
No, I said it was pretty average.
You said it looked cool.
No, you should go read my preview again.
I'm not talking about it in the preview. I'm talking about it on the podcast when you're like, oh, it's doing this stuff and this stuff and this stuff, and it sounds pretty cool.
No, I said it's. I think it looks. It's doing a lot of the same stuff we've already seen before, and a lot of the interesting things they've done. They've taken away from it, like the stuff with bullet being currency, and the AI is pretty average. And
I got the feeling that he's definitely said it could go either way, and I got the feeling that you were leaning to it going the positive way.
I was definitely leaning on it being pretty average from what I've played so
Dear
far.
listeners,
I think it looks pretty and whatnot, but
maybe because you always talk about graphics last. Maybe that's why I took that impression away.
Do you not remember me talking about how like I was in a mission and it bugged out and I was running around for ages and it didn't work properly?
Yeah, but like that happens. That's a preview thing. Come on.
I think it's going to be fine from what I've seen so far. Like, I was hyped for it, but I think it pulled me down.
I remember you saying that it definitely tempered your hype, but like, still.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway. Okay, Luke hates it. Fine. Moving on.
Yeah, they were throwing this under the bus because there was a lot of complaints about people being like, I'm just going to pirate the game and whatnot. That's where the whole boycotting thing came from.
Right, yeah. It is a single-player game, so I guess that is a danger. But ideally, people won't pirate it. It's just out of spite. That's sort of scummy. Okay, Microsoft Game Studios changes its name to Xbox Game Studios, which, you know, I think is a massive thumbs up to the concept of Xbox having legs. Although if they didn't bail 2 years ago, then they weren't really going to bail, and they bought a fucking ton of studios, so it didn't seem like they were bailing out. So yeah, but they also released that adorable the adaptive controller ad for Super Bowl. Did you watch that? It was extremely sweet. I don't really go for saccharine shit that much, but I thought this was adorable. Did you watch it?
I watched it, but I've seen that or a similar type of ad before as well.
Yeah.
Maybe when they first announced it?
When light shines through you in certain ways, does the room... does it go green? Is that, like, because you're so jaded, or... Am I using jaded incorrectly? Interesting.
No, my point is that everyone was like, oh, this ad, it's so good. I'm like... But, like, did no one see the last ad?
Where's the last one? Show us the last one.
I thought they released it when it first came out. I'm going to find this ad and send it to you.
You fucking better. I can't wait.
It's like nobody knew what this thing was, and all of a sudden, like, I played with this thing a year ago nearly.
Looks like, you're going back to this old fucking chestnut, is it? Oh, yeah, okay, here we go. Crack out the fucking kids again. Here we go. Fucking blah, blah, blah. I've already seen this controller. Nobody cares.
If people would have been listening to this podcast in June last year, they'd know that we talked about this already.
We definitely talked about the controller. That doesn't make the fucking ad any less sweet, you fucking...
No, I think it was good.
Control.
But they've definitely done ads like that before. It's like everyone missed it.
Show me the ad. Show me the ad. Show me
the
ad. Alright. And
it might be on the screen if anyone's watching on the Facebook, not Facebook, on the YouTube feed, if I can find it.
And we briefly talked about this earlier. We might have over-talked about this. I might have over-talked about this already, but EA partially blames weak Battlefield 5 sales on prioritizing a campaign over Battle Royale. Yeah, so this is the co-op campaign, I suppose. They got it out of order. Combined Arms, which is out next week.
Maybe, yeah.
This week? Next week? One of the other.
They're still releasing single player content.
Yeah, and yeah, they should have been focusing on Battle Royale, which is true. But they also blamed weak sales on marketing. Just what I was talking about earlier. We won't go back into that. Yeah, I agree. They should have focused on Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Everyone should have focused on Battle Royale.
Or they should have released it when the game was ready instead of early. Because it released without, like, the single player finished. It released with it was buggy.
Imagine if they'd released it last week with working Battle Royale just before Titanfall.
Apex Legends. It's not Titanfall.
Could you imagine? Oh my god. Oh my god. Respawn would be like, oh no, come on, not again. Not like this.
And so this ties into something else that came out, and I wrote this on Twitter last night. Like, maybe people are getting sick of tiered game releases as well. Battlefield 3 had 3 game release dates.
Sure.
There was the I think it was like a VIP premiere release. They had another one where you could pay a premium on top of that for like a early digital release, and then like the normal release. So across, I think it was 3 weeks, there was 3 different release dates for this game. I think that becomes a problem because you've got people that are into the game and want to play it, and maybe their friends have bought it and they're like, I'm going to hold off, I don't have the money right now, or whatever. They don't buy it at that stage, and then 3 weeks goes past and their friends are maybe done with it.
Yep.
And so that person doesn't buy that game, or people just don't want to be a part of that cycle. We saw it come up like within the last week of Anthem released their graph of when you can play Anthem.
It was such a simple graph. Oh my god, it was like, it was for the
but
demo.
That's the same thing.
It would have been nothing.
Of them releasing a game and splitting it up into different...
I love how it is now fucking people race to be as dumb as humanly possible so they can pretend they don't understand a fucking chart. Oh yeah, oh no, this will be funny on Twitter if I pretend I don't understand fucking a 5x3 chart. Who could possibly fucking work this out? You need to be a rocket scientist. And it's just some fucking shitty... So all the fucking columns with whether or not you can play the demo. It didn't even fucking matter, but people... Yeah, fuck that. Fuck
But no, I still think it comes back to that of, like, we talked about it at our Game of the Year show, this, like, tiered release dates, and pay a premium to play the game early. Like, all that stuff needs to die. It does need to be a thing. There shouldn't be 3 release dates for a game. I think it's hurting consumers, if anything. Like, there's no reason why I should have to pay $150 to play the game 2 weeks earlier, or you know, I think Microsoft is doing or it might even be Ubisoft is doing the play the Division 3 days early.
Right.
If you pay the gold edition or something like that. Like, yeah, everybody's doing it now. I don't like it. It's fucking terrible. It's terrible, like, marketing employee, and it's just greedy. It's just publishers being greedy.
I guess, yes, from that perspective, certainly. However, I think that chart was really easy to work out. Anyway, moving on.
That's it. That's the news.
That's it. Okay, cool. We got no questions. which is disappointing, of course. But write in to tell me if Luke liked Metro or not. That'd be good. I'd like that.
You can go read my review.
It wasn't. It was a preview, first of all, and second of all, I want to know if you said it on the podcast because that's not the fucking impression I got. Yeah,
probably. All right. Is that it? Let's wrap things up then. The Gap, the GA podcast. You can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, every place possible. I feel like we're on that right now. Spotify, you can go to that place as well.
Yep.
If you want to send us questions, you can do it the old-fashioned way. Our email address is thegapodcast@gmail.com, or you can find us on social media, facebook.com/GApodcast, twitter.com/GApodcast, or you can go to our YouTube page if you want to watch this show with video content. Sometimes, like, I'll put some Division stuff up there as well.
You can put some Apex. Have you recorded any Apex gameplay?
A little bit.
Too much effort.
It's up there.
You're looking at me like, fuck you, Joe.
No,
fuck
so
you prick.
My shadow play does not work sometimes, right. And so I'll dump it into like Vegas, and it'll just freak out and be like, no, this file is fucked. There's something wrong with it. Doesn't work properly. And I think it's because I'm splitting the audio channels up. Like I split up my in-game and my voice channels because sometimes the TV's on and whatnot. So I think maybe that's what's happening because it used to work fine, but anyway, shadow play is trash sometimes. But I'll try and put some stuff in there.
Well, we don't need like sound.
No, I don't put sound on there. It's just usually video content.
Right.
So I'll do that with Division. I've got a lot of Division content. Hopefully that all works. So yeah.
Because we spoke about fucking Apex for an hour and a half. So it might be better than to just than looking at me with my fucking stain on my shirt and
yes,
trying desperately not to pick my nose for an hour and a half. No, 3 hours at this point. Yeah.
I'll hide it. It's fine.
It's good.
The pick. So yeah, you can go to thegapodcast.com/YouTube. It'll take you to our YouTube page. You can also go to thegapodcast.com/Spotify if you want to listen to this on Spotify. Some quick links. And all the links we just talked about, just saying you go to thegapodcast.com. Everything's up there. Past episodes of the show if you want to listen to those. Some other content. Did I fix the website? I did fix the website. Far out, man. The other day, like, it updated to the latest version of WordPress, and the website just shit itself. Like, it looked like trash. And this was at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and the day before the podcast is going up, and I'm like, I'm going to bed. It'll have to do.
Luke messaged me. He's like, "Oh, Joab, the podcast, the site's all broken. The fucking WordPress broke or something. It's all broken." I jump on. I'm like, looks the same.
Looks the same.
I don't see anything different.
It was ruined.
Yeah.
Because I was up late putting the podcast live.
Yep.
And getting it all ready, and then I realized that it had updated because I don't usually look at the front page. I'm in the back end and whatnot.
Yep.
And then I looked at front page and was like, oh my, what the heck happens here? And then I looked at it and it updated recently. And I was like, oh man, something broke. Anyway, we fixed it, so you can go to that to check it out. It looks exactly the same though. GApodcast.com. You can also go to GApodcast.com/Discord. Jump in there. We're playing Apex Legends at the moment.
We're playing the Division.
If anyone's in Division, jump in for that.
I guess some Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves happening.
Depending on how quickly we get bored with the Division.
Yep. So a lot of things going on. We've got chat channels you can go and post in and whatnot. We've got videos going up, so check that out. It's a lot of fun. And all that.
We've got rad dudes like Johnny Bravo sharing the Division beta keys.
All right.
Which is awesome. Yeah, there's been a lot of sharing of love.
Do we get extra keys?
I believe we do, yeah. No, I think we do. So if you jump in our Discord, ask for a key. I've got some spares, as long as we're friends on Uplay.
Did you get some spares?
Yeah, I did.
All right, I'll have to look, because I haven't looked. I just gave you my one.
You can invite 3 friends based off your 1 key. And you gave me a key, so I can invite some friends. I believe I've used one of my keys already, because Nate didn't get a key for some reason.
He did message me before and asked if I got a key.
So grumpy.
And I was like,
he is so
I got one last night.
Yeah.
I think he needs to message them again and say, hey, you didn't send it to me yet. I'm sure it'll be fine, because I got one for you. Like,
yeah, true.
It's not that hard.
No.
So yeah, we were playing that. But yeah, that's all thanks to our Patreon members. You want to help support the show, you can go to patreon.com/GA podcast. Helps us pay for things like server costs and the site going down all the time because of so many people that are listening.
Yes. You're the best.
Yes, we appreciate that. Thank you everyone that does that every month.
It is awesome.
I think that is it. You got anything you want to pimp out for this week?
Head to Red Bull and check out a really good map breakdown of the new Paris map that we put up, talking to CKM from the Overwatch Team Australia. He breaks down the map really, really well. It's a really good piece. I'm going to have a big piece about why Apex Legends is amazing. Probably put up some tips or something just to try and, snake all the fucking hits I can. And I believe that's it for now. Yeah. I think there's rainbow stuff next week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When do you fly out?
Apparently next week. We'll see how that goes. It's getting hot in here. So yeah, you can go to Stevivor.com. I have a lot of stuff going up at the moment. I think we talked about it. I had like a Rage 2 preview go up. I had my interview with Professor Fat Shady go up, who is an Australian YouTuber that helped the Trials Rising devs create a bunch of tutorials for the in-games.
Yep.
So I talked to him about that. I have a Division 2 preview that went up 2 days ago.
Yep.
A lot of stuff we just talked about just then, but if you want to go read that, you can do that. And also,
that Metro piece where you hated Metro.
Yeah, that was a couple weeks back. But I also spoke to Fnatic, the Australian Rainbow Six Siege team, who will be playing in the Invitational.
Yep.
Which is happening, starts next week. The prize pool is now up to $2 million, $2 million US.
It's huge. It's awesome.
And I spoke to Dizzle. They're over in Europe at the moment, using Fnatic's HQ. They're playing with European teams. They're playing with NA teams. They're getting ready for the event.
Cool.
And I just sent them over some standard, how are you preparing questions and
it's good.
Like that.
It's a good read. It is.
They've been practicing with the winners of basically the best team in the league. So that's good news.
G2, yeah.
Other than the fact they're revealing secrets, but I mean G2's been dominating for the last year.
Yep.
But yeah, that's good. They've always been one of their scrim partners. So
yep.
Yeah, I'm excited. So I should hopefully. I mean, I'm supposed to be covering the event in Canada next week, and I'll have a bunch of content up. A lot of year 4 content is going. They'll reveal a bunch of that, so people should look forward to that one. And I guess whatever other surprises they've got in store. Should be a good event if we end up going. But we're apparently going. Let's see what happens.
Should be good. Oh yeah, that reminds me, head to OzGamers to read my interview with Mike Gamble from BioWare, where I ask him how many characters you can fuck in Anthem. And my previews for Anthem is on Red Bull. Just doing really well. Really well. Getting mad props from my bosses. Nice. Yep. Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
I think that's it. Next week, we'll probably have to record early.
Okay.
Because I'll be out of here. Hopefully, we'll have some.
Sure you will.
Some content up.
Is it like a 30-hour flight to Canada? Like, what the fuck? And we're gonna have to record on fucking Monday or something. We'll talk about Apex Legends.
I think I'm supposed to be on Thursday.
Why don't we split this one up into? How the fuck are you gonna go on Thursday? It's gonna take you get there on fucking Saturday morning or some shit.
No, we get there on the Friday, I think. Oh, I can't remember. I don't know. I don't know, Joab. I'm not organising. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
Nobody is.
I think I was supposed to be reviewing Crackdown, I think. I have a feeling they're not going to send that through because the previews for that were pretty horrible. And what is this? Oh, okay, fair enough. This is why. Oh, Anthem's the best game ever.
Here we go. You fuck.
Joe's being paid out.
People listening at home can't even work out what the fuck you're talking about.
No. So yeah, Crackdown. Supposed to be reviewing that. That's out next week.
Yep.
Don't have any code yet. Previews are pretty average. I don't think they're going to send that out early. So I probably won't be talking about that next week. But
for those listening at home, by the way, I had a box with like Red Bull and Anthem on the same thing because they held the event at the gaming sphere in Tokyo, the Red Bull gaming sphere.
How much money did they pay you to go to the preview?
Ooh la la! I'm not an influencer, so I don't get paid shit. Sadly, all the influencers who went, I believe, got paid though. So nice for them.
I saw a post from Jim Sterling last night about he got an email about a new game that's coming out, and they sent him a message and asked him what were his fees to review the game.
Oh.
For his YouTube channel.
Nice.
Right. That's fucked up.
That's pretty good. That's juicy. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's it. It's hot. I'm gone.
Yep. We're outie. All right.
See ya.
See ya.